All right. For if you're just joining us, we're hoping that this doesn't have any problems. We have been having it, it makes sense because this is the first episode we're recording for the 2025-2026 sixth season. So welcome back, but we've been having some problems trying to upload this thing. So we are praying that we can get through this entire show without any delays. But we are back. Hoops are back 2026. Ryan Gooden, Matthew Hargrove. We've had a long off season. We were just talking about it on the last episode that you guys will never hear that lasted about 2 minutes and 12 seconds. So, but it's been a good off season, but we're back. That basketball is here.
Absolutely. Lasted 2 minutes and 12 seconds, and that was 45 minutes ago. So that's good.
It's a record.
If that,
It's a show record.
Yeah. So, it's good to be back. We, as recording, NBA starts back up tomorrow. 2 big games, and then we're all the way into the season. So it's really good to be back. We did take a long off season, but the NBA's got such a short off season that made it easy for us to take a nice vacation.
That's the thing. Out of all the big sports, NBA and those a couple weeks when we don't have NBA in our life in the off season, or really the 2 months, it does feel like we just watched the NBA finals, which I mean, when you think about it, and if you've been listening to the show for a little bit, my thoughts on the format of the NBA postseason. I'm not a fan of it because of how long it goes. But if you think about it, those teams that didn't make the postseason, they haven't been playing basketball since April. So, and obviously that feels like a long time, very, very long time ago. So, but how this episode is going to work, we're going to go through each team. We want to go about 5-minute preview and say what we really like or maybe what we're worried about with each team. We'll start in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. But what's really fun this year, and we literally just decided it, is we have some awards, new awards that, and I'll just say them to tease them a little bit. We'll talk about them towards the end of the episode. But we have some awards that we're going to give out. All of them have a yearly winner at the end of the season that we will award. Can't wait for that. But there's 4 new awards that we're giving out. 2 are going to be weekly, and then 2 are going to be monthly. We have the Linsanity Award, and I feel like that one pretty much writes itself. Jeremy Lin went off. Nobody knew who he really was. It just came out of nowhere. That'll be a weekly award where we kind of pick somebody that randomly just kind of went off that week and became Jeremy Lin. That one will be really fun to kind of watch out for.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a few to go through, but that one is that was the first one that clicked, and we were like, yeah, that's got to be in there.
Yeah,
every week might be tough, but it'll be a fun ride.
Yeah. The second one is Cardio King. That one as well is pretty much it's written into the award. Famously, we thought about the Tony Snell Award because he has the famous stat of being on the floor for an entire game, 0.0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 turnovers, 0 field goal attempts. So they're basically just out there getting their laps in. And we like this award because it really forces us to watch the games. We always do watch them pretty closely, but like even more so, and just notice like why in the world is Austin Reeves just running back and forth from 3-point line to 3-point line, which he probably will never be on or awarded the Cardio King Award because he's pretty solid in all aspects of the game.
A little teaser: somebody on that team might be my early season pick for that award. So just be on the lookout for that.
LeBron James is old, but he's not. He's not that old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lakers. Yeah, you never know with the Lakers. My favorite. Or go
we
ahead.
Also didn't want to be rude and name the award after Tony Snell. That's why it's called the Cardio
Tony Snell. We have all the respect in the world for Tony Snell.
The utmost.
It just happened. It's one game. It doesn't define the kind of player that he is. So
because everybody knows the rest of his career, how that went. So nobody is reminded by when you think of Tony Snell, the first thing you think of is not that stat line. It is how good he was with the Chicago Bulls.
The Bucks. It happened with the Bucks. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I don't think of Tony Snell. I think of him as a Chicago Bull.
As you should.
So, naturally. So the third award, this one's probably my favorite. It's oh shit, I thought he retired. So we give that one out monthly. Those are probably
Yeah.
going to be your veterans who they had a pretty solid month that we did not realize was still playing meaningful basketball. So
Hmm.
maybe Kyle Lowry has a nice little 2 week stint on the 76ers, I'm pretty sure. Or
Good guess.
or Donius Haslam somehow ends up on the floor, signs like a 10-day contract or something. Even though I'm pretty sure he's part of the new NBC crew. I'm pretty sure I saw him do a video for
Doesn't
that.
matter.
So, which
Here's the
off
thing.
topic, real quick. Or go ahead. Go ahead.
No, 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 go ahead.
I was gonna say the new music that NBC is using for the basketball. I kind of like it.
I
I'm
will
pretty sure
say
it's NBC.
the worst, the worst thing that came out of that is we don't get Kevin Harlan with Reggie Miller anymore, and I'm not sure Kevin Harlan's going to be calling many games like we used to see with TNT. I would say the best announcer in the game, broadcaster in the game, with play-by-play. Him and Mike Breen are obviously 1 and 2, but I'd put Kevin above him. And the fact that we don't get as much, I assume, I don't know. I know Reggie's calling it with Iron Eagle's son, no Eagle, but
No, yeah.
just no Kevin Harlan to start off the year. It's rough. It's not what you want to see.
Yeah, well, how are you gonna put him on? I guess the same can be said for Brian Anderson because those are the two guys announcing the games on 2K. So how are you gonna have the two video game announcers not even have a huge role in the NBA season? That doesn't sit right with me. But I digress. The last award that we have is the traffic cone, which is we'll give that one out monthly to just hideous defensive performances. I
Mhm.
have a feeling we might see somebody from the Lakers as well on that award. Um, all due respect to
I
Luca,
know
he's
Rui's.
just struggling,
I know.
but
Oh,
that's what I was
huh,
thinking of. I thought that's what I
oh.
was thinking. But he's in shape. He had the men's health award, or not award, uh, the men's
Well,
health
we can give that one
magazine.
out
He looks
too.
really good. Wait, men's health award. So those are the four awards that we're going to be giving out weekly and monthly, and we're pretty excited about it. So just something extra to add to the episodes, and it'll be really fun. But let's just get into the season. Well, like I said, we'll go over 5 minutes. We say 5 minutes. We'll just try to spend a good amount of time on each team, and then at the end we'll do our playoff picks, finals picks, MVP, sixth man of the year, all that good stuff. Let's start with the Eastern Conference, and we're gonna go from worst to best. I think that's the best start because honestly, sometimes I love talking about these teams that have really struggled from last year. I love talking about them more a little bit going into the season because it's like, what did they do in the offseason? And then what do they do to improve and the draft picks and stuff like that. So, first team, Washington Wizards. I think we'll go the worst teams from the last season, 2025, 2024, 2025. So, we'll start with the Washington Wizards. Um, I want to say before you get to talking about them, Ryan, I think the Wizards are once again going to be the worst team in the Eastern Conference. And I don't even think it's going to be close. Alex Sarr, really interesting player, but other than that, they really do not have much going for them.
Yeah, well, it's not an ideal situation. They are in what I would say is the, let's see, 27, the seventh year at least of their rebuild, and they are still the bottom feeder of the Eastern Conference, which is the worst conference in basketball. And here's what I'll say: they did have an off season. It's not good or bad. It's just it was an off season.
Okay.
Obviously, they had the pick of Trey Johnson, Texas stud, bucket getter. That's about all you can say for Trey Johnson. He reminds me of a version of Cam Thomas from the Nets, where it's just like, yeah, he can go out there and get you 20, 25, 30 every once in a while. He might be on the list for that traffic cone award that we give out every month. He might be one of the front runners. How he plays now, can he improve on that? He's 6'5", 190. He's got the length for it, but it's all about um, consistency and really effort on the defensive side. Now, Is that the only player they got? No, of course they got second year Alex Sarr coming back, former second overall pick from a year ago. They did draft Will Riley out of Illinois. They've got young guys. They've got old vets. They've got guys like C.J. McCollum, Chris Middleton, guys that will help those younger folks like C.J. behind. I'm sorry, Trey Johnson behind C.J. McCollum could benefit his career entirely on the offensive side and become a consistent 20-point per game scorer. But they've got some interesting pieces. Obviously, they still have Corey Kispert, still got some shooting. They've got guys. My biggest thing they did in the offseason, though, they traded for Cam Whitmore, who I think is one of the biggest studs to come off a bench. Like, if he was still in Houston, he probably wouldn't get as much playing time, and I know that's why he wanted to leave, but Cam Whitmore is a good basketball player, and it wouldn't surprise me by the end of the year if he's starting for this team. So, yeah, that's kind of my take on the Wizards. Do I think they'll be fantastic? One last name that I left out. Obviously, Keyshawn George had a good year last year, but Bilal Coulibaly is probably one of their better players. Obviously, defensive stud from France. But obviously, they're not going anywhere this year, but at least they've got some building blocks of young pieces with some vets that can at least kind of mentor those young guys and hopefully start building something there in Washington to get behind.
Yeah, I think I'm most excited to actually see Coulibaly play because he averaged about 12 points a game. Honestly, his numbers were closer to like 12, 4, and 4 for a rookie season. That's pretty solid, and he's still only just 21 years old. So I do.
Does
like
he take that
spot.
jump? Do you think he takes that jump?
Yeah, I think so. It seems it will be interesting to see how the offense is going to run because you have to remember they have those veterans. So you have C.J. McCollum and Chris Middleton. Now, I fully expect those guys to be in different uniforms trade deadline time because the Wizards are going to be out of it, and Middleton and McCollum are set to be free agents going into the 26-27 season. So there's going to be no point in keeping those guys whatsoever. You'll get draft picks or young players for them. So what I mean by that is it's going to be interesting to see how the offense is run because you kind of would like to see Coulibaly, if he's going to take that next step, I guess scoring wise, to have the ball a lot in his hand. And CJ McCollum, listen, he probably knows the situation. He knows he's going to get traded, but he's going to want to put on a show. So the ball's going to be in his hands a lot. And CJ McCollum wants to go ISO and get his buckets. So, and I think he definitely will get that. He's going to get a lot of opportunities. The same for Chris Middleton. So you worry if those guys are going to take those opportunities away from Coulibaly. Maybe so. Maybe we see a jump in the second half when they start, injuries start to pop up for McCollum and Middleton. And it's just to kind of keep them healthy and so they can trade them. But
it is tough to trade $30 million, but because they're each making 30, which is kind of crazy. But NBA money.
Yeah, and it is. Teams would have no problem paying that because it's just the 1-year deals. That's what makes them kind of. And CJ McCollum he's an older guy now. What is he? 32, 33, somewhere in there. But
34, I think.
34, which is the new 24. I hear in some cases. Some of these NBA guys.
People are talking.
Yeah. But CJ McCollum can still get some buckets.
Well, and here's the thing, they drafted Bub Carrington last year, and he kind of started at the end of the year for him. I just don't know if he is your future point guard. He is a sporadic shoot first, kind of crazy shots type of guy that, he could blossom into that starting point guard role, but it's just a very interesting team as far as how young are you going to play people, and do you get to the point like you're talking about halfway through the season you have legit everybody under the age of 27. Outside of those two, I think Anthony Gill is the only person over 30 that's not those two. Let me check. Yeah, Anthony Gill is 33. Other than that, the oldest player is Marvin Bagley at 26. So if you get rid of those two vets in McCollum and Middleton, you're going to have the youngest roster by far in the league, and not really a leader on that team yet. So
what is what is the goal for the Wizards this year?
I think the goal is to figure out which one of these guards is your future long-term guard. This year is your year to figure out who's actually going to, like, I don't think Corey Kispert's going to be a Washington Wizard too much longer. I think a team is going to scoop him up if he's able to shoot 40% from three this year. A team is going to want a shooter on their team, especially a contending team. You know, for a guy like Trey Johnson or Coulibaly, can Coulibaly be a 2 or 3 option in a team like for a playoff run? It's hard to say now, but that's what you kind of got to see this year from him. Can he be that one player for this year's team? You also need to find a leader. This is the year you need to find a leader. Can Alex Sarr take the next jump? It's what I believe is his second year, right?
Second year.
Second year. Didn't really, offensively, he was okay, which is where he was going to shine originally, but did he take an offensive leap to where a little bit more consistent, a little bit more strong to actually play the big man position? Those are the two that I'm looking out for, really. Coulibaly and Sarr, can you be those two guys to lead this team?
I think it will be a successful season, and I say this in all seriousness. If they get to 20 or more wins, that needs to be their goal. Considering they're maybe the youngest team in the NBA, but the last 2 seasons, 15 wins, 18 wins. So if you want to look at the glass half full,
It's going up.
It's slow but steady. We might be on pace to start competing 2030, but you get 22 wins this year, 26 and 27. It sounds ridiculous, but if you can keep kind of rising, I guess that's all that matters in a rebuild.
It is.
That is the Washington Wizards, and
congrats on a 21 season, guys.
Congrats on the 21s. I tell you what.
Poor Wizards fan, man.
I might be locked into the Wizards if they're at 19 with a week to go. I might drive to the nation's capital. I might drive to the nation's capital and be present for that 20th win. It'll be that'll be a special night.
Let's move on to the Hornets because nobody wants to talk about the Wizards for 4 minutes.
Yeah. Sorry, we kind of spent too much time on the Wizards, and I actually I can't believe I'm saying this. I love the Hornets. I love the Charlotte Hornets this year. I believe they're a playoff team, and when I say playoff team, I mean like
play-in,
not getting into the play-in. I mean after the play-in's over, they will be one of those top 8 teams.
Wow.
I love the makeup. I love Connor Knippel. He's going to be in that starting shooting guard role, and you got to remember LaMelo was hurt for a lot of last year. So
and
now
Brandon Miller was hurt.
I am banking on him staying healthy, but man, I kind of they have some veterans coming off the bench. I think I really do like this Hornets team as being like that number 8 spot in the East.
Well, you kind of mentioned LaMelo being hurt. Brandon Miller was also hurt. He went out early in the year and was out for the entire year basically. And before that, he was playing his best basketball of his career so far. Now that was only his second year last year, but he really looked like he was taking that leap. I think he is a stud. I think he can be a 2 on an NBA championship team eventually. I just don't think LaMelo's a 1. So there's your issue with Charlotte. But you got LaMelo, like you said, Con Knippel, which kind of slows down the erratic craziness that is the Charlotte Hornets and kind of provides some stability in that offense. Yeah, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges. I mean, the big man position is just where I worry at. Still with like 35-year-old Mason Plumlee. Like that is where we're at. I know they drafted Ryan Kalkbrenner from Creighton this year. They got Grant Williams, of course. They got a guard off the bench that is kind of sneaky in Colin Sexton, who could really turn some eyes as a 6-man this year if he doesn't end up starting. But they've got some guys. You could go 10 deep with this roster, but somebody's gonna have to step. Like Tijan Salon is a guy they drafted from France a year ago, who is a project guy, but if he works out, he could be dangerous. And he showed some flashes last year, but you got to see more consistent from him. You've got guys like Trey Mann, who people don't realize it, but he was on that OKC team and was actually really good for OKC before he got traded to the Hornets. You still have Josh Green from Mavericks, coming off the bench. You've got solid bench pieces. It's just a matter of if they can stay healthy and how far a LaMelo led team can go.
Yeah, that is the thing that worries me because sorry for the pause, but I'm trying to think of the right way to word this. Lamelo, he's still young. He's born in 2001, so he's what, 24 years old.
Good math, John.
The thing is like kind of what you said, and I don't know how much right I have to say because I'm not in the locker room with these guys, but just saying this from an outside point of view, I do worry about the leadership. Like LaMelo Ball being that guy that, like you said, is going to step up and kind of keep everybody in order. He just doesn't seem a guy like that. He kind of seems like a guy that he just kind of does his own thing. I'm saying this from an outside perspective, so that's the thing that does worry me. I guess as far as what we kind of want to look at Lamelo Ball as being, like, are we going to look at him as being like a Shea or like an MVP kind of guy, or is he just going to be like a flashy, fun player, but it never really amounts to anything?
But I think that's why people forget, like, they traded PJ Washington for Grant Williams, and everybody was like, what a stupid trade. This is the reason. He can be a quote unquote leader of a team, even if it's just vocal. Like, it's not going to be on the floor most of the time, but you need someone in that locker room that has, some leadership ability and able to rally the troops when they need them. And you're hoping that could be that guy, but it's a risk because if he's not, then you're kind of back to square one of you don't really have anybody in this team that is a solid. And leader is a tough word. I mean, in the NBA, it's tough because everybody's kind of doing their own thing. As long as you do your job, you play well, the team's going to do fine. It's just like you need guys that late in the game I need to be able to trust. And I don't know that I can trust LaMelo with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, down 3. Like, is he going to make the right play? Is he going to take the right shot? Can he get everybody that he needs to get in order? It's just maybe Colin Campbell steps up to that role. I don't know.
I think he does. I think Lamelo this season he takes that jump. I mean, he's already been an all-star. I think we start to see a little bit more reliable Lamelo Ball.
I like to see it.
One last thing on the Hornets. I really hope we get to see this lineup. It's pretty much the 2025 college basketball. Like, if they did a 3-on-3 tournament, this would be like an all-star lineup. But they do have Liam McNeely from UConn. If we get Kalkbrenner, Knipple, and McNeely on the floor all together with each other, I think that would be pretty cool for if you're mainly just a college basketball fan. I think that would be a lot of fun if those three were on the floor at some time. I don't know how much playing time Liam McNeely's going to get.
Probably not much.
He's a second round pick. He seems like he has labeled all over him just that white dude shooter who was cold in college and gets to the NBA and he just, kind of like a Connor Gillespie and, Jim are kind of one of those guys. So
see, he reminds me of a guy who, if he was drafted to the Heat, you'd be hearing his name all day, every day. Type of like hard nosed, gritty, second round guy, chip on his shoulder, can shoot, makes the right play. I've got that feeling with Lee McNeely. So I guess it depends on the system and how he gets used is whether or not he can be successful in the NBA.
Gotcha. So what is a successful season for the Hornets? I'm gonna say playoffs. I think
I'm gonna say play in.
Playing.
I'm gonna say play in. I think if they can get to the play in and give them a chance to make the playoffs, I think because while we do shit on the East a lot, there are some good teams, and I just got to see Charlotte get there first.
Yeah, if they all stay healthy, they should definitely play in, win a game somewhere in that sphere. Yep. But I think a really fun team to watch this year, underrated team.
Could be.
Next one, it's weird that we're doing them this early because they're usually not this low in the totem pole, and that's the Philadelphia 76ers. I believe I saw on Twitter that they are officially the oldest team in the NBA or ever assembled. That might be the Clippers, actually. I want to say it was either the Sixers, the Clippers.
It's probably the Clippers, but I mean, they've got some. I mean, you got let's see, Drummond, Embiid, Paul George, Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry, all above the age of 30. And you
If
got
this was the roster in 2018,
nasty.
I would probably pick the Philadelphia 76ers to win the NBA championship. Because
Yeah,
the names that you just rolled out there, Paul George, Kyle Lowry, and then you add on top Joel Embiid, who in 2018 could stay on the floor a little bit more.
Eric Gordon, who was a
Eric Gordon, who
six
was
man
a
of the year
menace
candidate. Yeah,
on those Rockets teams. So, and then you throw in a prime Tyrese Maxey just because I can. But, um, I mean, you could say this about a lot of teams, but it means more for this team. If they stay healthy, they're going to be solid. That's starting five and a big one of the most deflating parts of the NBA season last year was Jared McCain
yeah.
having the season-ending injury because he was going to win Rookie of the Year. It actually wasn't even close. Those first 2 months of the season, him and Tyrese Maxey was a lot of fun to watch. McCain goes down. MB couldn't stay on the floor. Paul George couldn't stay on the floor. It got to a point where you would watch Sixers games and you really felt bad for Maxey because he was having to do so much. But a healthy Sixers team, they're definitely getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, you've got my issue with them is they don't have the front court depth that I would like. Obviously, you have Embiid and Drummond, but the four position really scares me. Because you're throwing out guys like either Paul George at the four, or Justin Edwards at the four, or I mean Dominic Barlow, or maybe Kelly Oubre can play the four. Trenton Watford has been a good, solid piece. I just don't know if he's ready for what's going to be meaningful games because he played with the Nets about a year ago. But you got guards on top of guards. You got VJ Edgecombe. You've got Jared McCain, Tyrese Maxey, Quentin Grimes, Eric Gordon. Like you've got guards on top of guards, to where, knock on wood, if you do get hurt, you can at least sustain the level of basketball that you need to make the playoffs. But you're right. I mean, Jerry McCain was having a rookie of the year performance last year, and unfortunately got cut short. And then Tyrese Maxey ended up going down with injury, and then of course Joel Embiid and Paul George are always seemingly injured. So you've got it right in the head. It's if this team can stay healthy. That's what it's been for the last 3 or 4 years now. But um, it should be a playoff team. This should be a 5 seed by the time this thing is said and done,
Oh
if
yeah,
everything goes according to plan, at least. But
and I tell you what, they might have a guy who, in the rookie class, and this is just based off preseason, it does look like it could be a pretty special one. Ace Bailey looks
mhm.
pretty good playing for Utah. Cooper Flag has been a lot of fun to watch in preseason, but VJ Edgecombe, he could be a really sneaky piece. He's athletic. He can shoot pretty well. I think he seems pretty solid as somebody coming off the bench. Um,
Yeah,
and I would assume right now the depth chart, it shows Kelly Oubre at that starting shooting guard spot and then Justin Edwards at the small forward. I wouldn't be surprised if we get into the middle of the season and it's Maxey and McCain that's the one and the two, and they maybe do that so they can take Maxey off the ball a little bit more. And that's kind of your point guard and shooting guard there, and then VJ Edcombe is the backup. But I think yeah,
that'd be
that
tough
bench for the
defensively.
Sixers looks pretty good.
Defensively, that'd be tough. As far as McCain and Maxey the 1 and 2, I mean, they did lose. I mean, people don't realize Yershon Yabusele was a big part of having a piece at the four spot.
Mm,
Because I assume they're going to put Paul George there to start the seasons.
yeah,
I mean, you don't have many options. You're going to have to hope that Trenton Watford shows up and can be a bench piece at that spot. Of course, they've got Bona, who is another center, but I can't classify him as a four as far as being able to stretch the floor, at least a little bit. So that's my only worry with Philly is one, the health, and then two, the front court.
yeah. Also too, with the Sixers, Johnny Broom does play for him, so Auburn Tigers. Part of that,
Does he?
the Hornets matchup that we need. We need that 2025 college basketball reunion for some reason, or the Final Four reunion. What's a successful season for the Sixers? I think I'll say playoffs. They got to get into the playoffs,
Have to.
especially if they're healthy. If Embiid is able to play 60
67.
games this year,
Yep.
has to. So,
Yeah, I
for
know. I know. I know we say this a lot, but if you don't make the playoffs this year, you have to blow it up. Joel Embiid has to go. Paul George, like you have to restart and just you have a young core, so you can do that. You still got Maxey, you still got McCain, you got Edgecombe. You have to blow up the old heads and get kind of the revamped starting um, position there in Philly. I mean, they signed Quentin Grimes back, so you've got guards on top of guards. And Grimes was just a guy who took advantage of people being hurt last year, and he just kind of took a shot and ended up scoring 40, like 5 different games while everybody was hurt. So you've got guys that can be that bench scorer. You have to stay healthy in that front.
yeah. Next team in the Eastern Conference, as we go down the list, the Brooklyn Nets.
Interesting, interesting
The
team,
Brooklyn Nets' big offseason move was Michael Porter Jr.
and it's a big move.
It is a big move. So what'll be fun about watching Michael Porter Jr. with the Nets is he will be in more of a role he'll have to carry. And it's going to really challenge him because in Denver, he could just kind of be that 3 point specialist and Jamal Murray and Jokic. And honestly, if you really watch those playoff games, Aaron Gordon would do the one on one stuff. Michael Porter Jr. really is not the greatest one on one player, but he's going to have to kind of become that guy in Brooklyn. But yeah, Brooklyn Nets, they got some fun scores like MPJ when they're hot. Cam Thomas, when he is hot, he is really one of the most fun guys to watch offensively. And then Claxton at the center. So you have some, I'm not saying every night, but some Nets games will be worthwhile to watch.
Well, don't forget they drafted like 5 people in the first round this past year. Of course, Igor Demin from BYU being that main piece. They did draft Danny Wolf from Michigan. He kind of played well in that summer league stint. Nolan Traore is a guy from France who was projected to be like a top 5, top 10 pick before the season started. Didn't really have that great of a season overseas, so we'll see how he turns out. And then the other two pieces, but you were right about MPJ in a way. I think he can be a one-on-one scorer. He obviously coming out of high school, but everybody is in high school. He has the ability. It's just I think he was in a system to where if he was going one-on-one, something must have been wrong, or Jokic must have been dead because there's no reason for him to be going one-on-one when you have the system that was created in Denver, centered around Jokic and Murray. So he became that spot up guy. I like to see him in this role. Obviously, I have a MPJ close to my heart because I wanted him to be good from way back when.
You have a
But
shirt. I bought you his
Schurzy,
shirt
some would
when I
say.
went to yes,
Yeah.
because I knew you were very high on him.
Yeah. Still am holding out hope. He's going to be more of a playmaking role this year. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. Whether he can make those decisions is going to be evident pretty quickly. But I'm afraid of this team being a whoever brings it down the floor is going to shoot type of team, like we're in 4th grade basketball. And it's going to be just Michael Porter Jr. and Cam Thomas going back and forth on who's going to take the shot. Don't be surprised if you see a guy like Nick Claxton's name pop up in trade rumors within the next year. I think him being on a contending team would do a lot for any of these top tier teams that need a center
Oh yeah,
because he is a defensive menace and a rim running threat.
he's a double double. He's
Yeah, double
double
machine,
double defensive threat.
fairly
Yes.
cheap for what he is. So don't be surprised if teams start asking about Nick Claxton. We'll see if he wants to go, but for this team, it's just like it'd probably be the exact same as last year. Just see if you can get to
Yeah.
25, 30 wins, and if you do, congrats. If not, then we'll be back in the lottery ish for next year.
Yeah, they got 26 wins last year, and you know what's weird about Brooklyn
I think I
is
said 35, 40. I meant 25, 30. by the way, just
Yeah,
in case
yeah,
that
yeah.
comes back.
I definitely know what you meant. They went 26-56 last year. And, so the loss that they have compared to last year, no Dorian Finney-Smith, which he was actually traded mid-season, and then they're losing Cam Johnson, who he really is a similar player to Michael Porter Jr. But the thing about the Nets is they were 29th in points per game. So
Which is crazy.
where's that offense going to come from? The defense
Well,
actually wasn't that bad,
that's why you're
and
hoping that one of these rookies can be like the facilitator of that team. Like if Igor Dimon, who's a 6'8" guard, by the way, in case you were wondering, but him or Troy Orr has got to be the catalyst of this team as far as getting everybody involved because it could get ugly again where it's just like it's shot quote unquote shot making ability from the guys that you're normally seeing.
yeah,
Danny Wolf can kind of be that guy off the bench that creates for the team on that big man spot. But I don't know. It's an interesting team. Noah Clowney, you got Day'Ron Sharp. Like they've got big men that some of these teams, Philadelphia 76ers would love to have any one of those dudes
oh yeah,
as their backup.
100%. Next up, Toronto Raptors. Um, Toronto last season was 30-52, middle in the pack in defense. They couldn't really score the basketball all too well, and it seems like the reason is they have some scores, but they don't really have that go to. And they had the big trade. R.J. Barrett comes over to Toronto, and I think we've
And
kind of
Emmanuel
figured out.
quickly.
And Emmanuel quickly, pardon me, because Emmanuel quickly is a very solid basketball player. And we've kind of figured out who RJ Barrett, the kind of player he is. And I think that's why the Knicks traded him. Is when they drafted RJ Barrett, they envisioned him, and I think everybody did, because he was the number one. Maybe you didn't, but when you're arguably the best player on the Duke Blue Devils and you're drafted top five, there's expectations there. You're expected to eventually in your career, because there are some pretty impressive guys that go to those blue blood schools and they come out and they are the best player. I know you know this being Kentucky Wildcats fans. So there's plenty of pretty solid Wildcats NBA players or number one Wildcats players. So
Well,
there's
and
those
people are gonna think
expectations.
that's biased, but it's really just like even when he was the number one player in high school, I just did not see it. Like you could tell, yes, he could potentially be a triple double machine because he's a 6'6" guard who can rebound and potentially shoot. But it was just, and he has decent playmaking ability. He was just decent overall. And he has a decent all around game, but it was nothing. He didn't excel in one position or one area of the game like you need to. So that was my only gripe with him. But sorry if I cut you off.
Oh no. Yeah. He's the. If you were to tell me R.J. Barrett when he got drafted had not been an All Star yet, going into his age 25 season, I would think that's crazy. Just considering, definitely for you, just because of your reasons, but I just really did think he was going to turn out to be a pretty solid player for the New York Knicks and the face of the Knicks. So
I mean, I whiff a lot on some of these guys, but that was one I was pretty dead set on. And again, I'm not hating on RJ Barrett. I just think, um, the reasons I listed, but the team overall, it's just they don't have the guys on this team. Just maybe it's a bad analysis, but nobody sticks out. Like it's just not a fun names team. It's not a oh that guy I can go get you a bucket team. It's not a like nobody on this team. If Scotty Barnes is your best player, you're not going very far. He is a solid.
well, they're in what they are, and there's multiple teams every year, and we've seen this a lot from a lot of Eastern Conference teams, but they're in NBA purgatory. They're a team that they're
Yeah,
playing, and they've been like this really ever since they won the finals in 2019. But they've had a nice team where this year they're going to win some games. They're not an easy, like if you're a contending team and you got to go to Toronto or the Raptors are coming into town, it's not like you can just blow them off. Like if you blow them off, they're going to beat you. But they're just 8-9 seed, and they can't draft high enough to go get like if they were top three this year, get a Cooper Flag that would have changed the dynamic of this team. So that's probably who they are again. Is they just have their starting lineup is mixed with amazing role players. If they were on a championship team, like if you were to take like an RJ Barrett or a Quickly or even a Scotty Barnes and dropped them on like a OKC Thunder or something like that,
Yeah. Golden
then
State.
then that's an amazing spot. But it's just kind of in the the spot that they are in right now.
I think they made one of the worst offseason moves also in getting Brandon Ingram. I think Brandon Ingram, I think the Pelicans made the best move getting rid of him. And it's not sounds like I'm hating on Duke players, but it's just like he's another one of those guys where he's not lethal in the mid range. He's good / great in the mid range. But if you're going to shoot mid range shots, you pretty much have to be Shea or not shoot mid range shots in today's NBA. He's decent from three, he's probably average, and he doesn't play great defense. Like he is just a okay player who makes $40 million a year. It's just he's not a three on any championship team, and you're paying him $40 million a year, which is pretty much what a one gets, or maybe even a 1A, 1B. I just don't think, like, you're right. A starting lineup of Quickly, Barrett, Barnes, Ingram,
Yeah, I'm
and
looking. I'm actually looking at this realgm.com. It has all the NBA depth charts predictions to begin the year. It has Scotty Barnes coming off the bench. I think there's
no
no
shot.
way Scotty Barnes comes off the bench. He's
Who they have playing the four?
Brandon Ingram,
Who's playing the three?
RJ Barrett,
I'm missing it. They have Grady Dick starting.
Grady Dick starting,
Yeah.
and there's no way. So yeah,
I like Grady Dick, but there's no way he's
yeah,
starting
but
over
he's
Scotty
not
Barnes.
not playing him over Scotty Barnes, and um maybe this website it just kind of does it based on position. It's not gonna
Maybe.
it's
I do
not
like
gonna
Jakob Pertl. Jakob Pertl's a nice piece.
yeah yeah.
But him and
It's probably
Quickly are
gonna
like the only
go.
two.
Yeah, it's probably gonna go Quickly, Barrett, Ingram, Barnes,
Yeah,
Pearl.
Um,
All great basketball players, but kind of like you said,
right.
who's gonna take him over the hump? Which we don't know that. But yeah, I think it'll be a good season for the Raptors. Definitely playing worthy, playoff worthy, but more than that, getting in the second round past postseason, probably
Yeah,
not.
probably not.
Probably not. Next team in the East, we're getting closer to those playoff teams, the Miami Heat. Unfortunate season last year, 37-45. Just don't see that from the Heat, especially in this century. Like the Miami Heat have been one of the best teams of the 21st century. You kind of expect them to be a hard-nosed basketball team. They're always good on defense, but offense is just where they really struggle. But they have a lot of veterans on the team this year. Rozier, you got Tyler Hero. He made the jump last year, becoming an all-star. You got Bam Adebayo, which I've been seeing some trade Bam Adebayo stuff, just in NBA talk out there. So I think that could be,
But it'd get
which
interesting.
it would make sense because I consider the Heat in the same spot that the Toronto Raptors are in, and that is
No man's
NBA
land.
purgatory.
Yep. Yeah, it's just one of those. You're going to get a 17th overall pick every year, but you're also not going to make the playoffs / play in, which the Heat's been in the play in every year pretty much since the play in began. But yeah, look at this team. Like they have solid pieces. I mean, if you're starting Hero and Bam and let's just say, God, the rest of this team is Andrew Wiggins is probably going to start. Maybe Khalil Ware takes that jump in year two. Khalil Ware is one of the most intriguing players in the NBA. He could be a 30-point per game guy, but he also could have the next 4 nights where he scores 2 points combined. So if he can become consistent, he might actually be a legit player. He's still 21 years old, 7 foot, 250, just moves like a gazelle. Norman Powell, just a shot chucker.
Hey, I tell you what, Norman Powell probably should have been an All-Star last year.
I like Norman Powell.
He was.
I predicted
man,
him to have
playoffs.
I predicted him to have a Game 7 playoff heroic moment against the Nuggets to beat them, and ever since then I've hated him. No, I'm just kidding. But he is he's a good shot chucker. We love those guys, but 32-year-old Norman Powell doesn't move the needle for me with the Miami Heat.
No, he's not going to move. He's not going to move the needle, but
Yeah.
he was on a tear last season. It was fun watching
Yeah,
Norman Powell and Khalil Ware. Who would have thought with Khalil
not
Ware?
me.
I liked him in college, but some of the stuff that he has been doing in the preseason,
It's crazy.
like if you don't clean your contacts or your glasses, it might look like Victor Wembanyama,
Yeah,
and I don't say that as a joke. Like it's the same body type. Wembanyama's probably 2 feet taller than Khalil, so but he's still 7'1".
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, if Khalil Ware, because the shot making was impressive. That was the impressive part.
It makes me wonder, like, do these college coaches just not like? Do they just shelter some of these players before they get to the league? Like, are they
I
just
don't think
like?
that I don't think that was it. I mean, he was playing some meaningful minutes.
I mean,
His
when he went to
or
Indiana, he was still like he just didn't. I didn't see this at Indiana, and I don't mean like being able to shoot 1 foot, one-legged jumper. Like that's not what I'm talking about. But just being able to freedom to be able to shoot not
yeah,
whatever shot you want, but at least the outside shots. Like I remember Karl Anthony Towns, who's one of the best big man shooters ever to walk this league. Pretty much wasn't allowed to shoot at Kentucky because Cal wanted to be a low post guy and work and develop his low post because he knew he could shoot. But it's like some of these college coaches, I wonder if they see one thing and they're like, well, we need to work on that to get you to the league, but it doesn't let you showcase what you really can do. Because Claire Ware's always had a good shot on him, and maybe it was just he needed more range.
yeah. I will say this, even though it was probably what 3 years ago, 4 years ago, somewhere in there, when he was a freshman at Oregon, he would chuck it. He did have some room to work. Now he came off the bench for that team, and that was before a lot of people liked him out of high school, but that was before everybody kind of knew like who he really was, and he wasn't like dominating the college game. He had some nice games,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that is a little bit of a trend in college sports, and why you see guys like Khalil where it's like he had this, and it's certain vendettas, and that's why you got to let them figure it out, and
Yeah.
especially at the NBA, you got to let these young guys flourish. But the Miami Heat,
Last two
um,
things. Davion Mitchell, dog. Casper Yakuchonis could be a solid piece for a rookie. We'll see if he can get in with
oof,
how
he scares
um,
me.
he's a good playmaking. He's a 6'5" playmaking guard. I don't know how much Spo will play him due to the fact that he is just slightly above a traffic cone. But I'm sure the Heat culture will get him right defensively, and then you'll start to see some progress out of him. But Davion Mitchell, certified dog.
Yeah. Also, too, shout out to Spo just for being him. He is the
Hmm.
new USA head coach for 2028. Which,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, it was announced he's
He
new head
deserves it.
coach for 2028. Which I don't know why it took this long. I know why. It's because Coach Keg had
Hmm.
been the coach for so long, and nobody is gonna move Coach Keg out of that spot. And Steve Kerr Steve Kerr was great option. I would have liked Spo to be in there. I'm sure you would have liked, growing up being a Warriors fan. Steve Kerr being in that spot, I had no problem with him being in that spot whatsoever. I kind of expected Spoelstra to be the next
Yeah,
head coach. I wonder why Steve Kerr, unless there is a reason I haven't seen it, why he is not coming back, and maybe he just wanted to do it this
for
time
with
around.
Steph.
Yeah, to do it with Steph and
Yeah,
Katie, and he knew it was going to be a veteran group, and he doesn't really have arguably a connection because the guys that are playing for the Warriors now are still veterans because Jimmy's there and Draymond. So maybe he doesn't have a full connection because this next 2028 Olympic team,
it's gonna be rough.
it's gonna be the new generation.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the exact point I was gonna make. Is you're right. Steve Kerr did want the quote unquote old heads because he knows how to manage stars. Like when you had Draymond, Clay, KD, and Steph on one team, and you knew how to manage those well enough for 3 seasons. It really did take a lot of him coaching. I know people don't realize that because they're like, oh, well, you have the four best players. You really have to do anything. But to manage all those and all that ego, all that testosterone in one room, like being able to fixate that and put a good product on the floor, really is big. So I think that does play a part into why he was that one. I think Spolstra is even better for 2028 because of the reasons you mentioned. All the old heads are gone. You're going to have new guys. You're going to have guys that are going to have to prove themselves as far as the FIBA world goes or the USA world goes. And Spo is great getting more out of what you expect from guys. Like, he is going to
Oh
get the
yeah.
best out of the best from guys, and you're like, I didn't expect that from him. So you kind of need that when you're going to have a squad like we're going to have in 2028, where they're
Yeah.
kind of unproven.
Yeah, and I know this has turned into a USA basketball, which that we're always here for that
That's fine.
conversation, but it'll be perfect with this new group coming in because they kind of will be younger guys and maybe you know, I feel like years prior, which a lot can change in 4 years. Years prior, you had like superstar after superstar. In this 2028 team, you'll have all stars, but how many like true household like a LeBron or Katie or a Steph is going to be on that team? So you can have Spolstra and the way he wants to coach. He can actually maybe be a little bit more hard nosed on those guys. You try to do that with like LeBron and KD and Embiid. I'm not saying they're just gonna blow you off, but it's like, come on now, like there's no coaching LeBron James or Kevin Durant. Like they
Yeah,
know, like those guys are in their mid 30s, upper 30s, younger 40s, so they know what they're doing.
they do.
Moving up,
Let's
moving along.
yeah, let's fly through these because especially once we get to the playoff teams, it's kind of just you already know.
Yeah, yeah. Chicago
Especially in the East.
Bulls. Uh,
Interesting team. The most interesting part is that they still suck. Another one of those teams that I think might get worse. They do have. I've got two picks for the most improved player of the year, and I'll go ahead and throw them out right now. Montez Buzelis is one of them, and MPJ is the other.
for
MPJ
most
because he's going to
improved.
get MPJ because he's going to get more playmaking opportunities and more shots. He could average 20 a game, 5 and 5,
Oh,
20,
that's
28 and 5. And Buzelis could be. I thought he was going to do that last year, and then he got hurt. So I bet it again this year. But just a not interesting team. I got Josh Giddey, who played well for the Bulls. Buzelis, who's interesting. Vucevic, Kobe White, Patrick Williams. Just a dog shit organization. Not to mention, because Iota Somo was pretty good, but they drafted Noah Aseng. I don't know how to say his last name. Sengu.
yeah, that's
You don't.
perfect.
You don't know. You just
No,
made that
that's
up.
really good.
Um, he's the one that got dunked on in the preseason, and I haven't unseen that, and so that's all I know him for. Even though I definitely watched him overseas, but I don't. To me, that's what he's known for, and he's on the Bulls now, so his career is going to go in the
Gotcha.
shitter. So
Don't let our buddy Jamar see this segment on the Bulls.
yeah,
He'll be very
well
disappointed because
he won't make it an hour in. I can guarantee it.
he's a very big Bulls fan. Only thing I'll say, Nikola Vucevic will be traded. Last year of his contract, Bulls won't be in it. He'll be a highly sought after.
Don't know what.
I mean, he can still get some buckets. So
He's going to be another person on that traffic cone. He's a front runner for that one.
I think the Bulls will get someone's going to overpay for him. Probably, I think so.
Oh, they will.
Because the stats are going to look really good come trade deadline, and somebody's going to give some pretty a lot of draft picks or some good young pieces for Vucevic. I think for a team that's desperate. I think there's going to be some teams that love Nikola Vucevic.
I can't imagine it, but I'm glad somebody will be.
Next team,
Get the Hawks.
the Atlanta Hawks.
This one's gonna hit close to home. I mentioned the most improved players on my list, Buzelis being one of them, and PJ of course being another. My pick last year was Jalen Johnson, and he was dominating before he got hurt, had season-ending injury. I'm gonna pick him again. I'm picking 3 players, and just spreading out the wealth a little bit. I actually like the Hawks this year. I like them enough to make the playoffs without making the play-in. I like pretty much everything that they've got as far as you've got Trey
So you
Young,
got him
who
as
is
a top 6 team.
I do. I like Trey Young being the point guard scorer, but also lead leaguer in assists. I also like having the offset of that, which is Dyson Daniels being able to guard whatever guard Trey Young is on. So if you're playing the Warriors, you can have Trey Young guard the shooting guard and Buddy Hield versus having to guard Steph Curry one-on-one. So having a guy like that is absolutely massive for Trae Young's career. Then you got guys like Zachary Risachet, number one overall pick last year. Can he take that next step? I think he does. You also got Kristaps Porzingis in the offseason. I know you're not a big Porzingis guy. I can't say that I'm high on him, but if he plays anything like he did in Boston, and I know that was a system, and he was like the fourth or fifth option, so he could kind of do whatever he wanted, but I don't think he's going to be a focal point of this offense, but he can still have that same role of being a stretch five who can block shots, rim run if he needs to.
That's totally
Along
fine.
with,
Yeah, you're right. I've never been a fan of his when he's the focal point, and I've just been frustrated at times watching him play, and he gets a little too cute going for the
yeah,
jump shots. I would like to see him bully just a little bit more. That's been my gripe with Porzingis.
and it's a fair gripe, but I mean, you got a lineup of Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Reese Shea, Jalen Johnson, and Kristaps Porzingis. To me, that is a top six in the East. Not to mention, you've got guys like Nickeil Alexander-Walker coming off the bench, Luke Kennard coming off the bench, Asa Newell, kid from Georgia, rookie, coming off the bench, Onyeka Okongwu coming off the bench. You've got 9, 10 guys deep that you can play in this roster, and I don't know. I like him. I like him a lot.
Yeah, Nickeil Alexander-Walker's a really underrated move for them. He's a great defensive player. So even in the
Yes.
starting lineup or coming off the bench, yeah, the Hawks, they made some moves, and they should. Trae Young's getting older. I mean, he's not old. I'm just saying, like, he's in his prime now. Like, it is time for us to see. He had the one playoff run, but it's time to see Trae Young consistently leading his team and getting in there. Next team.
Hold on. One quick shout out. The best
Yes.
player on their team. Shout out N'Faly Dante on the Atlanta Hawks. Congratulations.
Congratulations to Folly Dante.
Oregon
We
legend.
appreciate Oregon Ducks jersey right there. I don't think that's a. I'm pretty sure N'Faly Dante was not 23 at Oregon, but you get the
Can
gist.
guarantee you wasn't. Yeah.
Elgin Cook, I'm pretty sure, for any basketball lovers. All right. This one, Ryan is really excited about the Orlando Magic. They made the huge move of getting Desmond Bane. That was pretty early in the offseason.
Orlando Magic.
Orlando Magic. Desmond Bane from the Grizzlies to the Magic. Ben Caro, Duke player. Franz Wagner, Mo Wagner, or Wagner, or however you pronounce it, Wagner. They're young, they're fun. Last year they were riddled with injuries. It kind of was unfair. They still made the playoffs, but nobody gave them a shot because it seemed like a different person would go down every week. So a really frustrating season for them because they made that jump and took the Cleveland Cavaliers to 7 games in the first round of the postseason the year prior. And that was, we come to find out, that was a good Cavaliers team. So, but you love the Orlando Magic, don't you?
I do.
Ryan?
I like the moves they made. I think, and you know, we'll get into predictions later, but I think Paulo's taking the next step. I think when you look at, we talked about earlier, that 2028 USA roster, that guy's name's going to be pretty much at the forefront of it. I think he's that good. I loved him out of high school. I loved him out of college. I thought there's no way that guy's not the number one pick. It took till draft day to everybody to figure that out. And the Orlando Magic didn't screw it up. Jabari Smith was almost a number one pick, and it would have been disastrous for Orlando.
I don't understand. That's another conversation for another day, but that I will never.
That whole draft cycle was crazy.
Yeah, I will never understand that.
I think Paulo's going to take that next jump, and which is crazy to say because he made an insane year last year after his rookie year. Year 3 Paulo is going to be dangerous. My only issue with that team last year was they don't have any shooting. Well, guess what they went out and got? A 40% shooter from 3 who scores 20 a game, who also is a dog defensively like the rest of their team. You've got Jalen Suggs, defensive monster, can hit the 3. Desmond Bane, defensive player, decent player, but can score 20 a game and also hit the 3. You've got Franz Wagner. I got to see him take the next jump. That's the biggest guy on this team. If they want to go far, he's got to be the guy that maybe takes a little bit off because Desmond Bane's going to need some of those shots now. But he would have a few games where it's just like you got to see him progress as a decision maker and a shot maker in general as far as consistency goes. But I love Franz Wagner, Paulo Banchero, Wendell Carter, stacked offensive, um, defensive team right there. The defense, the bench, Mo Wagner. Of course, you've got Jonathan Isaac, who I'd love for him to stay healthy. The odds of him staying healthy are very slim, but him coming off the bench will be huge. Tristan De La Silva, I think, is a great pickup. Kid from
he's great.
Colorado. Anthony Black really needs to take another jump, but I really, and they might even be in the move for an or a mid-season trade that really propels them to be a championship caliber team because that's what they're striving towards.
Yeah, well, the thing about the East this year is I don't want to say it's wide open, but
I will.
it's Boston is not going to have Jason Tatum. So as
Yeah,
good of a player Jaylen Brown is, they lost Kristaps, so you're losing two guys of that starting five, and that's a lot of production.
Drew Holiday's
Tatum
gone,
and Kristaps. So
and Drew Holiday.
who's the team to beat? The Knicks. But you saw it last year. Nobody gave the Indiana Pacers a shot to get to the finals. Definitely to the finals. People could see them winning first round, but they got within the that Final Four, and I would say nobody gave them a realistic shot. So Magic probably see that, and yeah, if they're in a really good spot trade deadline, they definitely should make a move.
I mean, Boston lost 3 out of their 5 starters, and we'll get to them in a minute. The
Who's the other one I'm
Cavaliers,
forgetting?
the Pacers lost Tyrese.
Or sorry, the Celtics. I said Tatum and Kristaps. Who's that other starter?
Oh, Drew Holiday's gone.
Drew Holiday. That's right.
So they lost 3 out of their 5 starters. They don't have any bigs because Al Horford's also gone. They're pretty much done for. We'll get to them in a minute. But the Cavaliers have shown that they are not worthy in the playoffs yet, so I've got to see it from them to believe it. The Pacers, who just went to the finals, are without their star for all year, so we'll see how they turn out to be. And then after that, it's kind of like it's the Magic, it's the Pistons, like you've got random teams in there that people aren't used to being good that could sneak up. Obviously, the Knicks are the front runners, but I don't know. The Magic they caught my eye this year, so that's where I'm at with them.
Well, let's move next team, Pistons. They kind of shocked the NBA world last year by making the playoffs, 44-38, and your boy, Cade Cunningham, was very effective. And they had some tight games against the Knicks in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Knicks ended up dominating them in that first round, but they really made New York work for it.
That is the experience they needed. Guys that have never been there before, guys who didn't know what it was like late situation in a playoff game. They had like 3 games under their belt during that series that really tested them and kind of got them ready for what you would hope would be an improvement on last year. Just looking over the roster, I mean, it's pretty much the exact same as last year. I'm trying to think if they lost anybody big. You're hoping Jaden Ivey comes back after being injured all of last year. And kind of have that 1-2 combo with him and Cade Cunningham, Wade Cunningham, if you will. Jalen Duren, you get what you get with him. It's pretty good. I don't think you're going to see much of a jump from him. That's my only issue with this Pistons team is I'm not sure who's going to make that jump to really propel them. Asor Thompson is still going to be the best defender in the league, and you've got guys like that all over the place between him and Marcus Sasser, and then you hope that Ron Holland can turn into something after drafting him last year pretty high. I don't know. Interesting team. Still probably top 5 in the East. But,
Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me if they made the play-in.
Only guy surprised if they don't make the play-in, you said?
It wouldn't surprise me if they did make the play-in.
Oh, okay.
Like if they took a step back and became that 7-8 seed and kind of snuck in there, it wouldn't surprise me too much.
Tim Hardaway Jr. is really the only guy that they
That
lost.
is right.
So he did start 77 games, averaged 11 points, 37% from 3. So
they kind of replaced him with Duncan Robinson, which it's kind of a downgrade, but and I'm not sure of how much Duncan Robinson will play, but you got to see a jump from Jaden Ivey.
Yeah, you really do. Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh God,
I don't know where to begin.
I do.
Is Giannis Is he a Milwaukee Buck at the end of the year? I think he is.
It's a good question. I think he
I
is
think
too.
if he was going to get traded this season, it probably would have already happened, right? There's just been so much
I
talk,
think
and
he's here to
I
stay because here's the thing: are you really going to find a trade package for Giannis, Thanasis, and Alex all in the same? Because you know he's going to want to play with all three of them or all both of them. Can you find that trade package? Can you find somebody that can afford to take on
there's no way.
$55 million?
You think he actually asked for that? If the
How else do you think Alex Antetokounmpo made a fucking roster in the NBA? I
well,
love the kid. I thought
what
he was
I'm
going to be good
saying
when he
is
came out of high school.
you really think Giannis would go to lengths where the GM, which I don't
Yes.
think Giannis would have a say in it because he unless he has a no trade clause in his contract. But you think like the GM would be like, "Hey, Giannis, you're getting traded," and he would force the other owner
It wouldn't be
or
in
the
the
other
trade.
GM.
It would just be well, they're going to release those two because the only reason they're on the team is because Giannis is, and he would probably ask for whatever team to pick those two up. So yeah, make some roster spots for him. Now the rest of the team is just. I wouldn't be surprised if they are a play-in team / miss the playoffs. Obviously, Giannis is a top tier talent, but if he goes down with injury at all during the season,
Oh,
they
they're
are
done.
screwed. You've got Cole Anthony, who's a solid bench piece. You've got Miles Turner, who's the big get. I don't see it. I thought he played outstanding last year for the Pacers. I don't think it's he was in trade talks for 7 years for a reason. So I don't think paying him $25 million a year is going to pan out for the Milwaukee Bucks. Maybe I'm wrong. Gary Trent Jr. being your spot up shooter, okay. After that, I mean, you got Bobby Portis off the bench. Are you really going to start Kevin Porter Jr. at point guard? Is Kyle Kuzma going to be any good? Probably not. I don't like this team whatsoever. Um, I have him as an 8 seed or a 7 seed, one of the two, right now. If I were picking today, that's with
Yeah,
Giannis being
So
healthy all year.
Giannis with his contract, so he's due to get 112 million more dollars, 54 million this year around that,
That's pretty cool.
58 58 next season, and then he's got a player option which I would be stunned if he doesn't take it. But
I don't know. 32-year-old Giannis.
it's
That's what he'll be by the time
62.7 million.
that CBA deal is going to hit again, and that's going to be the new norm.
So you think he doesn't take it and he'll find
How many more years before some of these guys are making $100 million per year?
Oh, well, I think we still have a ways to go.
You think
Like
so?
not like yeah, I mean
I mean, Giannis is at 60.
2040. It won't
Okay.
be any time. It won't be any time in Giannis's playing days. Yeah, I don't think it will get that hectic. But I think 2040. I think we'll see. Some middle schooler right now get paid 100 million per year. So yeah,
Good for that guy.
Milwaukee. I love Giannis. I love the
What's their
loyalty to the
ceiling for this
city. And
team?
what's up?
What's their ceiling for this team?
The expectation or the ceiling?
Everybody expects to win a championship. That's why you go out there and play. What's the ceiling of this roster? How it's constructed?
The ceiling is past the first round because when you have Giannis Antetokounmpo, I mean, we expect Giannis. He's been out of the first round for the past 3 years, so uh, I know the
Yeah, but
rosters
I
have
don't.
not been amazing, but we do that conversation all the time of, well, if this was LeBron or if this was KD, can you imagine if like a LeBron led team was out of the first round? We would think a lot differently about him. So,
It wasn't that long ago that he was.
yeah, yeah. So,
But I think if you take away, and I know this is what ifs, and if you take away stuff, which doesn't, who cares because it actually happened. But if you take away that championship that Giannis had, man, his career would look a
oh
lot
man,
different than what it is right now.
man, his resume. Yeah, he looks like one of the like most probably overrated players. Maybe if he doesn't win that championship.
It'd be one of the biggest like what ifs. Like what if Giannis had a good team? What if Giannis could have whatever? And it's like, yeah, well, he's had, like you said, 3 straight seasons where he couldn't make it out of the first round, and I don't see that changing this year. And that's if they get to the playoffs.
Yeah, well, the thing is too is if you want to say, well, Giannis didn't have a good team, probably the biggest mark on his resume is when they lost in 23 first round to an 8 seed, the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
There's no excuse.
Yeah.
No excuse. I know that Heat team went on to the finals, but no excuse.
Not only that, Giannis, he plays in the East. You don't play in the West where you have an excuse as of, well, there's 12 teams deep that can make the playoffs. You're in the East, buddy. I am stretching to make eight teams make this playoff run. I've got a team in the Pacers who just went to the playoffs and lost their star player, which would normally take you pretty much out of it with the way that their system is run. It's probably going to make the 8 seed. So you better
Yeah.
figure it out if you're in Milwaukee.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, expectation wise, I totally understand what you meant with a ceiling, but when you have somebody who has finished MVP in seven straight, top five in MVP voting, 7 straight years,
Yeah.
you're expected to win a championship when you have
Yeah.
a guy of that caliber. So, yeah, could get really ugly in Milwaukee.
All
I
right.
mean, it could get to a point if they're bad enough, they could just say it's not worth it. We're not getting any better. Let's just find a team that really likes them, and Wembanyama and Antetokounmpo could have a field day in San Antonio. So next team, unless you're any
Indiana
more
Pacers. Nope.
any more on the Bucks,
Nope.
Pacers.
On to the Pacers.
Pacers are kind of the same way because Tyrese is out for the year, right?
Yeah, he's done. Yeah.
So they don't have Miles Turner, so you're losing 2 starters, and it's so disappointing because even if they lost that Game 7 with a healthy Tyrese, going into this year would be so much fun if you were a Pacers fan. There would
It's
be
crazy how one season can flip just like that.
yeah,
Game
like they would
seven,
have
one game away
realistic
from the
finals
NBA
expectations.
Finals,
Yeah,
and your best player starts 4 for 4 from downtown in the first quarter, and you think we have a chance to win the NBA Finals on the road for the first time ever. Tears his Achilles. Your guy who you've had in trade talks for 7 years says, "I don't want to be here anymore." Leaves. You're down 2 starters. You're probably going to be a 7-8 seed with Pascal leading this team. Here's why I keep them in the playoffs. The way their organization is run and the way that their coach, well, I can't think of his name, Rick Carlisle, coaches, he will have movement no matter what. It's still chaos, organized chaos, as some call it, on that team. Unfortunately, as of recording, unless I got Sintelled, I believe Cam Jones, their second round pick, just got arrested. So he might not be in the equation. So
is that right? Is that breaking news?
I
Right
believe
now?
so. Again, that's if I did not get Sintelled. It could. Don't take my word for it. This is not breaking news. Probably should say allegedly got arrested. Now,
Thank you.
Pascal, Aaron Neesmith, Andrew Nimhart is going to have a big year in that playmaking role. TJ McConnell off the bench. Benedict Mathurin is a big one that I'm looking for to really step up. But that's about it. So Jay Huff is an underrated signing, I think, that I like to replace Miles Turner. But 8 seed, 7 seed for Indiana, and I think they'll be swimmingly happy with that.
Most improved player for me is on this team.
Benedict or Andrew?
Yeah,
Benedict Mathurin. I do love Mathurin, dude. You and me loved him in Arizona.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking with the Tyrese injury, I think he'll be in a starting role. So
I don't know. They don't seem to like him very much, and I'm trying to figure out why. Because I think
16 points. He started 50 games last year during the playoffs. That's when he was coming off the bench during the playoffs. But
I think Nimhart will start, and I think Nimhart will start. And if I know Rick Carlisle, which I don't, then I think he'll probably play like a Ben Shepherd at the 2 to create some space. And let Pascal and Neesmith and Jay Huff play, and then kind of be Benedict Mathurin might be like the 6th man of the year type of
6th man of the year.
But
yeah, I think like averaging 20 points a game, I think he can do it if he gets enough touches.
Yeah, I think so.
And this could be the season where he is with Tyrese out. So
I like that pick.
Yeah. Next,
Knicks.
we're getting down to the nitty gritty. The New York Knicks.
Championship or bust?
Man, a championship or bust. I loved the Knicks last year. They were actually my pick to get to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
I loved them all year. The only problem was their bench. That was what I worried about. But their starting 5 could match anybody. And the Pacers just the Pacers just had too much, and that's what happened. The Knicks starters were having to do a ton, but with the Pacers down, the Celtics down. Yeah, it is. Uh, I have them. I think I mentioned it earlier, but I would say they're the favorites in the Eastern Conference this year.
I would agree.
The betting favorite.
I do think nothing has changed with this team, unfortunately, and that is other than the fact that they got Jordan Clarkson. That's their bench piece that they went and got to say, hey, if we want to spark off the bench,
Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah,
I can see you're so enthusiastic about that pick.
He might have a insanity run 1 week for us.
We have an award, so he'll be my favorite.
But yeah, they don't. I mean, the bench didn't really get much better. I do like Kevin McCullough Jr., but he's a young player, and by young I mean he's 24. But he's one of those rookies that can come in and play immediately for Tibbs. But other than that, it's just can Mitchell Robinson stay healthy? Probably not. Your Sean Yabusele is a nice pickup for them.
King of France.
Some say. I
say.
I'm still not moved by him. He's still going to play his starters 45 minutes a game in the playoffs. They're still going to get deadbeat tired by the time we get to Game 6 in Round 2. So, that's where I'm at with the Knicks. Championship or bust.
Championship or bust. Next team's the Boston Celtics.
We kind of spoke on them. Like I said, they lost 3 starters, which honestly, doesn't matter what league you do that.
Most improved player could be Peyton Pritchard.
Could be. Stepping up in a big-time role.
He is going to be the starting point guard.
You think he's going to start over Anthony Simons? I think he might.
Can they not both?
Well, yeah. Problem is they have no bigs.
Well, let me see what this website I told you about has.
My guess is that it's going to be Pritchard, Jaylen Brown. Well, Jaylen Brown's probably going to play the 3. It might be Pritchard, Simons.
So,
or Derek White. I'm sorry. Derek White's going to start.
Yeah. It's got Pritchard and Simons, and then White, Jaylen Brown, Chris Boucher as the starting center. What a shitty
lineup. Yeah, they don't have a big man. That's why they're going small. They've got, I think Namas Queta is going to start for them probably.
Mm-hmm.
Which everybody knows that guy.
Luka Garza.
Oh, yes. Yes, they do. I mean, Chris Boucher is 6'8", and he's going to play the center position for you. It'd be different if he played like Draymond, but he does not. So that's about the only comparison. I guess Amari Williams is a kid from Kentucky. He's not going to play.
I'm just thinking with Pritchard, he averaged 14, 4, and 4 off the bench last year.
Yeah.
So if you give him 34 minutes a game, he averaged 28 minutes a game last year. So you give him an extra 6 minutes a game.
It'd be hard for me not to see
be in the running.
Simon starting, considering he started in Portland. But I think Simons could be a 6th man of the year if
100%.
If the rotation goes the way I think it will.
Yeah, Simons is. In my mind, he's another C.J. McCollum, and I don't say that in a bad way. I say that in a good way. Like C.J. McCollum, when he's on, he's a bucket, and Simons can do the same thing. So,
yeah.
Last team, Cleveland Cavaliers. To be honest with you, all due respect, I hate talking about this team. I hate it because
I get it. I do get it.
There's so many expectations, and every year it seems like they're either like a sleeper pick or the favorites, and they every single time get to the postseason, and we're not talking about them in May or June. So
I get it.
I don't know what else to say about them.
Let me be the positive one on this side, which is rare, I know, but I think Lonzo Ball is the get of the offseason, and that's for any team in the league. I think by the end of the year, at the end of games and playoff games, Lonzo Ball will be in the lineup and Darius Garland will be sitting on the bench. I think what he provides is what Cleveland needs. You need a guard next to Donovan Mitchell who can defend. You need a guard who is a facilitator first. Darius Garland is a hybrid between that and a score first guy. And you need a guy who can consistently hit a 3-ball. That's pretty much what Lonzo Ball's exact game is. So you pair him up with Donovan Mitchell. Then you've got what could be either DeAndre Hunter or Max Strus, depending on who you want to put the 3. And then, of course, Mobley and Jared Allen. I still think they got a good shot. They're still going to be a number 1 seed in the East because they're going to win a lot of regular season games. I got to see them win a playoff series that matters. And I'm not talking about the Orlando Magic rookie year polo. So I just got to see it. I'm not going to put any stock into it. Do I think they get out of the first round? Yes. Do I think they get out of their second? I got to see it before I put my money there.
Yeah.
I do think Lonzo Ball was a get of the offseason, though. So that's what I'll say about them.
Awesome. Well, there you have it. There's the Eastern Conference.
Only took
Only took us
an hour and
about an
30
hour and a
minutes.
half. So, but
That means we
yeah,
move on to the West.
overall, it is wide open. It's wide open. Do you want to go through your East prediction?
Yeah, I can. Do you want me
Okay.
to? I'll go ahead and, well,
Or
I'm going to put
do you
up,
want to just do it after we go through the West?
we'll go through the West because I'm going to put up a nice little graphic about hour two and, and show everybody what my prediction is. That way we can
Okay.
speed along that process.
Yeah, Ryan's been clutch. He's got this nice little graphic. I haven't given him my picks yet, so I guess so I can get my own.
Well, luckily there's this thing called post production. I could just kind of sneak that in the end. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Post production, we can edit it in post.
The Utah Jazz.
Yeah, Western Conference. Utah
All right, let's
Jazz.
move on to the New Orleans Pelicans and
Ace Bailey.
yeah, that's about. I mean, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ace Bailey.
Yep.
I think Ace Bailey, there's a legitimate shot he could win Rookie of the Year. I know there's a lot of talk with Cooper Flag, but
I like that pick.
he's going to get a lot more looks because the Mavericks are a little bit more polished. So
I like that. I still think Dylan Harper's going to be the best player in the draft, but Ace Bailey's going to get the most touches.
This rookie class, man,
it's nasty.
Nasty.
Cooper Flag couldn't have gone to a more perfect situation for what I thought he was going to be. Like,
tell me about it.
So with this Jazz team, real quick, too many forwards, way too many forwards. Cody Williams has kind of turned out to be not great. Son of Jalen.
That was. I'm pretty sure we can go back and we probably have a podcast when we went over the draft. And
you did not like him.
No. I love Cody Williams.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you weren't invested. Okay.
No, I'm pretty sure if we go back and watch that episode, I loved Cody Williams and I thought he was going to be like underrated player, but man, because I loved him at Colorado. And
still 20 years old.
Yeah, still young.
Time.
But man, his rookie year, you kind of forgot he was in the league, so that's not really good.
Well, you got Ace Bailey, who's probably going to play a shooting guard role. You've got Sensabaugh, who I think is way better than Cody Williams right now. Still have like Jordan Yang, Lauri Markkanen, Taylor Hendricks, Kyle Filipowski, who's playing well, Kyle Anderson, just way too many forwards. I do like their guard rotation between Collier and Clayton Jr. Also, Keontae George is obviously the starter, but those three could really turn some heads. Hopefully, Walter Clayton gets some playing time because those two are probably going to be 1A, 1B as far as backup. I don't know. All you're hoping for is to find somebody. Can Ace be the guy? That's what you're hoping. And if he is, then it's a successful season. If not, then you try to find it outside of this, and maybe it's a trade Lauri season. Maybe by mid-season he's wanting out. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with Utah.
Pelicans got to make the playoffs this year.
I don't know how they can.
Zion apparently is in
he's not fat
the best
anymore.
shape of his life.
Yeah, he looks different.
So we'll just have to see.
Laid off the gumbo.
Did the weight correlate with the injury? Because we still need to see more consistent Zion. So if he's able to get through a full season, then maybe we can look back and be like, okay, maybe it was he just really wasn't keeping himself in shape.
Yeah.
But when Zion's on the floor, basketball's better. Pelicans went and got Jordan Poole this year. So listen, for all the things on Jordan Poole, he can shoot.
I like him.
He went to a Wizards team that there was no winning on that team, and Jordan Poole is not a 1A player. I don't even know if he's a 1B player. But if he's in that starting lineup and he gets red hot and he's getting open shots, that is somebody that you want on your team.
He's a flamethrower of the week type award-winning player.
He's like a J.R. Smith kind of player. Kind of comes to mind. So
my only problem with this team is that they have two, like DeJounte Murray and Jordan Poole together just is gross to me. And I know our disdain for DeJounte Murray, but it just, those two together on the same floor just grosses me the hell out. And they've already got hit with the injury bug with Kevon Looney. He's already injured, and I think he missed less than 20 games during the 6th season he was with the Warriors. So if that tells you anything about what's going on there down in New Orleans, I think they need a new trainer, a new doctor. But yeah, still have elite forwards. I mean, Herb Jones, Sadiq Bey, I'm missing with Trey Murphy, of course.
Trey Murphy. I'm surprised he wasn't. He was in the conversation, but the jumps that he made, like for most improved player, he went 21 points a game. He was averaging 21, 5, and 4, pretty much. Like 36% from three. What are we talking about?
Which is huge for a guy who's just supposed to be a spot up shooter for Zion. Like now that you have that as like a second option, if you can get Zion healthy for a full year, like you said, you've got the wing depth. I mean, Herb Jones is one of my favorite players in the league. They drafted Jeremiah Fears. They had Jordan Hawkins from last year. Of course, Jordan Poole. They also drafted Derek Queen. Guys, you've got guys that are, I don't know, like those two draft picks are just kind of, can you be the 10th, 11th guy off the bench and hopefully get some tick? Maybe.
Yeah.
But
the thing about it, and what is probably really fun for Pelicans fans, is they really don't know what this team is. Like with the Raptors and the Heat, we kind of know their spot. But I don't know if you can definitively say that about the Pelicans because it all relies on Zion. I still don't think we know what kind of player Zion is. Like how far he can kind of take a talented roster. And I would say this roster around him is pretty talented. Like if Zion's playing like we know he can, I'm not saying like Western Conference Finals, but I think they can get a series.
I want to see him in a playoff series as far as how the defense plays him.
Yeah, because he is a bully and he can jump out of the gym when he's going right, but the offensive moves, like when the double team comes, what's that going to look like? He loves to go to his left hand. Everybody knows that. The 3-point shooting, are they just going to sag off? Like, is he going to be that liable as a 3-point shooter that they're just going to sag off? So it'll.
You would hope in his time on the bench in jumpsuits that he was putting up some shots and maybe getting his 3-point shot down. But maybe I'm wrong. So we'll see.
Yeah, you would hope. The San Antonio Spurs.
So excited to talk about them.
Yeah, I would say. I would say if NBA fans across the country, if there was a poll, and it was overall, if you had to pick a team that you were excited about, but you couldn't pick your own to watch, I think most people would say the San Antonio Spurs.
This team makes me want to buy League Pass.
They got
and
Wemby.
I hate League Pass.
Yeah. If you had to pick a team 1 year, it's not your team, NBA League Pass, who are you picking? San Antonio Spurs. They got Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, dog. Wemby, 8 feet tall, dog. Did you see that thing where it might have been
He's like 7'6" now?
He's getting taller.
Yeah. Does that hurt him?
It's got to.
I wonder if that's part of the, I know nothing about what his injury was last year, but.
Well, it was the blood clot, wasn't it?
Yeah, but does that have anything to play an effect with the fact that he was still growing? And I don't know. Like maybe that's just a stupid thing.
Blood clot. He's actually an alien.
He's actually just getting injections to go to 8 feet tall. And
well, they do have the videos now. You can get surgery to make you taller.
I did see that. Shout out all the 5'4" men.
If you're, listen, and this is just advice out there in life. If you're a guy listening to this podcast and you're under 6 foot, we love your size. We admire your size. We know there's a lot of talk out there about that. Now, I don't know about admire because I'm going to be honest with you. I like my height. I'm 6'1". So I think you're 6'2", 6'1".
Yeah, right. 6 foot. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So I like my height, but I don't want to see. I hate seeing that. People thinking that they need to go get surgery to extend your knees. Come on now.
Yeah. And then you walk like Forrest Gump. It's like, dude, come on. Like, what do we,
So, but that's just advice. I would recommend under 6 foot. Don't think a thing about it.
But you know who doesn't have to worry about that? Victor Wembanyama. And you know what he's been doing in this offseason? Is bulking up. If he gets on Giannis's regimen of workout plans, I swear to God, this league's in trouble. Because I don't know if you remember Giannis when he came in the league, but he looked exactly like Wemby did. I don't know, 6 inches taller or shorter. And Giannis is one of the most yoked players in the league. If Wimby can resemble half of that, the ability that he has outweighs Giannis by a mile. But you see, like these preseason videos, I know it's preseason and I'm not putting much stock into it, but he is bullying people under the rim now. Like he is shoving you out of the way with his body. It is going to be dangerous if he can do that. I saw him, there's a picture of him holding the rim and his feet are flat on the ground because he did a putback dunk over Jay Huff and is holding the rim, rim's hanging down, flat foot on the ground. Gross. Gross. You match that with 3 guards who can pass the ball. They're no longer playing Jeremy Shohan at the point guard position. Look what's going to happen. You're going to have De'Aaron Fox, dog. Dylan
Yeah,
Harper,
we didn't
dog.
even mention De'Aaron Fox.
Not to mention you've got the wing play. You've got Julian Champagne who can hit threes, and Harrison Barnes who can hit threes and play some defense, and Devin Vassell who's probably going to play that 2 spot or 3 spot. I do like the pickup. They got, of course, they got Keldon Johnson still. I do like their pickup of what's that guy? Carter Bryant from Arizona. I think he was a very good Spurs pickup, defensive monster, kind of like that Boris Diaw role of just like, who the hell is this guy? Why? Like, where is he coming from? Carter Bryant's a good bench piece and will be for the Spurs for a long time. I just don't know if this is the year. That's the only thing with the Spurs is are they ready yet? And you're going to find out pretty quickly. But I think they're a play-in team. I think I had them as a 9 seed. I had them just outside my top 8. And they might sneak and win a playoff game or a play-in game to make the playoffs. So that's where I've got the Spurs at.
Yeah, I mean they were gonna if Wemby didn't get down go down with the injury, they were probably gonna at least get in that playing spot. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Spurs, they look exciting.
You know what's gonna be gross? And last thing, when they play, I have a feeling they're gonna play the double big. And I'm not talking about Shohan and Wemby. I'm talking about they're gonna play Wemby at the 4 and Luke Cornett at the 5, and it's going to be it could get gross as far as the visual test, but it could be very, very effective as far as that goes because Wimmy can play the 4, even though he's 7'6". He can hit outside shots. He can dribble. He can basically be the playmaker of the team. He's also become a playmaker in the preseason. He is looking to find guys and be the facilitator of the team, which is very interesting when you have 3 point guards, but I digress. So Stephon Castle is still like, if he takes another jump, this team is going to be unstoppable. At some point, they're going to run into the problem of having too many guards on the roster and too much talent, and we'll see where that takes them. But I'm very, very excited for this team.
Never a problem. Too much talent. Portland Trailblazers. Damian Lillard is back.
Fun team.
You're being serious.
I am.
What do you like about the Trailblazers?
You don't think they're fun? Because listen, Dame's out for the year, so you're pretty much without him. But you've got his veteran leadership. I love this might be the most fun rebuild in the league right now. You have, in my eyes, one of the most underrated players in the league in Denny Avdia. He was tremendous last year. He really took a big jump after leaving Washington, and you match that with Scoot Henderson, who struggled at first because it really was between him and Wembanyama in that draft class, and people just kind of looked like, oh, Wembanyama is one of the greatest talents we've ever seen, and Scoot wasn't, so it kind of left him out to dry, but he's actually been playing very well. You still have Shaden Sharp, who you just paid. You still have Damian Lillard, who you just brought back, even though he's injured. Obviously, the big one is you lost Anthony Simons, but I think that helps, doesn't hurt, because you're really going to get younger. Drew Holiday is now on the team and going to provide that defensive stability. Jeremy Grant is still a player. Donovan Clingan is still a nice piece. They just paid Tamari Kamara, I think that's how you say his name, to one of the best deals that the NBA is going to see. They just paid him yesterday. It is a steal for the amount of money they paid him. They basically gave him nothing and he signed a 4-year deal. I think this is one of the most fun rosters in the league. Not to mention they drafted Young Hansen, the stud that everybody loves from overseas.
Yeah, I guess I don't think in a loaded West.
No, no, I'm not saying they're gonna make the playoffs.
But you think they'll be
I think they'd be a
kind of
fun playing team.
fun to watch. What intrigues me is there has been some conversation about and I apologize if I'm saying this name wrong. Young Henson from China,
Yeah,
the
still.
rookie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 7-1. So the two, seeing him and Klingen, I would love to see that on the floor if we can make that happen. If
Yeah.
he does turn out to be like a a pretty solid piece.
Well, not only
Um,
that, but if he's your second, if he's your big off the bench, that's an interesting way to run your offense is through him and kind of be that facilitator through the big man and let everybody run off of him because I don't know, like Rob Williams might be on the trading block this year just to clear up some
yeah,
room for Mr.
yeah,
Hanson.
I think that would make a lot of sense. Next team, Phoenix.
Yeah.
Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks. But it just feels like we're wasting Devin Booker. This is a
Sucks.
year. It's a year of wasting. Devin Booker's in his prime. What is he? 28 now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're just we're just wasting Devin Booker.
Worst part is they had the championship roster. They just gave it up, just blew it
Yeah,
up for Kevin Durant. Anyway, yeah, yeah, Dylan Brooks. What can I say about him?
good
They got Ryan
defensive
Dunn.
player.
They got Ryan Dunn. That's cool. Was a solid rookie last year. I think he was a rookie last year. And again, my
Suns starting lineup: Booker and Jalen Green. That's a great start. If I'm just randomly handing you a roster and you have degraded, and I start with Devin Booker and Jalen Green, you're probably like, "Oh, this is probably going to be a solid team." And then Dylan Brooks, Royce O'Neal at the 4. They do have
mhm.
Mark Williams at the 5. It's
They have him
just
starting over man. Really?
Jalen Green is the main conversation here because
Yeah.
in the playoffs he was exposed last year. He just seemed like he wasn't ready to take that next step. And is he going to this year? But the thing is are they even going to make the playoffs? Because coming off the bench, Grayson Allen, Nick Richards, Connor Gillespie is your backup point guard.
Watch is a top 10 pick. Don't forget.
Yeah, Malawatch. I do apologize about that. Forgot about Malawatch.
Rasheer Fleming, I think, is a big pickup as well. I don't know. Kobe Bryant was a second round stud. That looks like he could be a pure spot up shooter in this league.
It just feels like
I
it's a weird team.
It's a very weird team because they don't have a point guard and they've got two guards that can't defend. Devin Booker can, he just can't do it while also being the focal point on offense every single night. Like you're lucky that you have Dylan Brooks there to take on whatever issue is going to be on the opposite side, but that's about it as far as the defensive side goes until you get to the big men. So I don't know how the offense is going to work either. Is Devin Booker purely going to be in a facilitating role, and if so, then I feel like that's just wasting his potential. Um, so I don't know. I don't. It's a hard read. I don't think they're going to make the play in. I kind of hate this team.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's going to be Devin Booker trade talks when we get closer to the deadline.
I don't know if he wants out. That's the problem.
Well,
He's one of those guys that's like wants to be
I don't know if he
dedicated
has
to just
choice.
the grind.
If the Suns think it's better for their organization,
If they think that, then somebody should drug test. Because
well, I don't know if it's better for their organization, but if they don't see themselves competing in the next however many years,
the only explanation better be we screwed up because we wasted his prime and we're trying to get the most value out of him that we can. If that's not the
there you
explanation,
go.
if I hear anything else, then that's drugs. It's
There you go.
drugs.
There you go. Speaking of GMs on drugs,
The Dallas
just a
Mavericks?
joke. Just a joke. Here come the Dallas Mavericks.
Drugs
Um,
that somehow worked out. It's like when you are high and you're cleaning and it somehow ends up clean, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a
okay,
druggie, so.
you've been through that experience. Is that like
No, I don't clean.
the Mavericks? No Kyrie. Well, maybe Kyrie at like the end of the year.
Yeah, like probably after All Star break. Um,
So, but
can I be
I
honest?
hate. Oh my gosh, I hate saying this, but the Dallas Mavericks could go on a run this year. If they get Kyrie back and Cooper Flagg's the rookie of the year and Anthony Davis and Derek Lively's a good defensive center and PJ Washington, like this is a team that they definitely can be scary. Cooper
They're,
Flagg being handed to them
mhm.
was just the biggest blessing of the 21st century for any team on draft night, probably. Other than the Cavaliers being handed LeBron James with the first pick. Maybe,
Other
maybe.
yeah,
That's just all assuming Cooper Flagg's going to turn out to be this great player. If he's
I
not,
don't know.
then
People forget that the Spurs were not supposed to have the number one pick when they got it. They were supposed to
that's
have like
right.
five or
Yeah,
six.
yeah. Spurs should not have gotten Wembanyama, but
However,
that's the good thing about the lottery. It takes away the tanking, so to an extent.
the the portion of this Mavs team that excites me is they're going to be the number one defensive team in the league, and I don't doubt that for a second. When you have a front court of Lively, Davis, Flag, you can put whatever guards you want out there, whether it be D'Angelo Russell, Nimhart, Jaden Hardy, Dante Exum, who's also a great defender, Max Christie, who's fine. That's the issue is they're going to run into guard problems. Klay Thompson, of course, still being there. But I mean, when you get Kyrie back and it's Kyrie, Clay, Cooper Flag, uh, Anthony Davis, and then Derek Lively, and then off the bench you've got PJ Washington, D'Angelo Russell, um, Najee Marshall, Jaden Hardy, Gafford. Like they just have Dante Exum. They have 10, 11 guys that can play on this team. They're super deep. Again, they're going to be the best defensive team in the league. I don't see a way that they don't make the playoffs. And if they do, it could get scary if injuries don't happen and people work out like they're supposed to.
The only thing you worry about is the injuries.
Yeah,
Because, Anthony Davis has had some injury stuff. Clay's been playing since he had the big injuries, but you still, there's a little bit of a worry there. And then, Kyrie,
and
how is
Kyrie
Kyrie going to
coming
be
back.
when he gets back? So, um, that's the only gripe. But yeah, I mean, it really does look like trading Luka. I don't want to say worked out, but is this roster better than when they had the finals run roster? I think depending on
Roster,
I think depending on
yes.
how well Cooper Flag looks, you can make the argument that it looks better than the roster
I think
than
the
when they went to the
roster is. I
finals.
don't think they have a player that like their two players don't equal what Luca is. That that is the issue is they don't have the guy to drag them, but they've got the roster to compete for an NBA championship. I just don't know if they have the 1A guy. I don't know if
Yeah.
Anthony Davis or Kyrie can be a 1A. So that's their issue. But
Well, yeah,
as far as
I'm not sold
a
on that
playoff team
either.
that can wreak some havoc, yeah. But as far as a playoff team that can wreak some havoc, they are the one that can really ruin a season for a team.
Yeah. Next, Sacramento Kings,
Fuck this team, move on.
the Memphis Grizzlies.
Sorry, Kings fans.
I, I
Memphis
will
is
I will
interesting.
just
I
say
think
I will say just brutal. They're kind of like the Sixers of the West. Like 2018, this team would be awesome. DeRozan, Russell
they're like the
Westbrook, Zach
they're like the
Levine.
Raptors of the East. Just a bunch of shit players that are all right.
Oh, okay.
Like I've got DeMar DeRozan, who's all right. I've got Zach Levine, who's all right. I've got Keegan Murray, who is overpaid and all right. And I've got Malik Monk, who's a solid bench piece, but all right.
Russell Westbrook.
Sabonis is good. Oh, how could I forget the latest signee, 36-year-old non-athletic Russell Westbrook? Because who doesn't want that excitement off their bench? Not to mention
All right.
Domantas Sabonis
All
is a
right. The
stud of a
Memphis
player, and he's
Grizzlies.
just wasting his career. Shout out Sabonis.
Poor Sabonis, dude. He's gonna.
Grizzlies are an interesting team.
How old is Sabonis now?
29. He's going to be dead by the time he gets on a good team. I think the
Okay.
Kings and the Grizzlies are the two that's going to take a huge step back.
Grizzlies, yeah,
Because
losing
obviously
Desmond Bain, Jaw. I don't know.
I just don't see it.
Jaw's had a weird career because he comes into the league, and the Grizzlies had that one year. I want to say it was like 3 years ago. I think it was 2023 where they were a top three team in the West and just caught the league on fire, and everybody was in love with them. They were the young team, And, if we're being honest, Josh starts getting into trouble. And as a team overall, they just were a very talkative team, and I think there was a lot of people who kind of lost respect for them. And ever since that, they've just been going downhill. So it's just been kind of a weird last 2 years for the Memphis Grizzlies.
I don't see it with Ja. He reminds me of a young Russell Westbrook, which young Russell Westbrook is fun. He's exciting. He's
Yeah,
athletic as
real
hell.
quick, real quick.
Um,
I hate the comparisons to Allen Iverson with John Morant. Because Allen Iverson, I
who the hell's
mean,
doing that?
I just feel like anytime John Morant's name, or like I see a highlight edit of John Morant, it's with Allen Iverson. I feel like those two have definitely been compared in their careers. And I feel like they definitely have.
I
And
must have missed that because I would have shut that down
yeah, well, I'm
immediately.
just saying, Allen Iverson's an MVP, led his team to a finals. Yeah, I feel like those two do get
Yeah, it's a little
compared
different.
to an extent. But go ahead, go ahead. Yeah, Russell Westbrook.
Well, I just don't see it. Like, um, yeah, he's a younger Russell Westbrook was fun. Like he is a good player. I just don't know that him alone can drag a team like this to a deep playoff run or even the playoffs at this point in the stacked West that we are. Um, Jaren Jackson is. I want to like him so bad. I loved him coming out of the draft. He is just so soft. If your starting center is grabbing 4 rebounds a game or whatever the hell he's grabbing, like it's time to put him at the 4 and just play Zach Edey at the 5 and be done with it. So you've got that issue. You lost Desmond Bain, which is huge. You did get Ty Jerome, which is a nice pickup. KCP is a pickup. Um, I don't know. They're just somebody's got to take a step back. Unfortunately, it's going to be the Kings and the Grizzlies because
Yeah,
you've got too many loaded teams at the bottom of the West that are going to make a jump up, being the Spurs, Pelicans, and whoever else we just spent 20 minutes on. No, that's it because the Blazers not there yet. But two teams going up, there's got to be two
yeah,
teams going down, and I think
yeah.
those are the two.
I think I'm in agreement with you there. All right, Warrior. Was that good? Did I do that well?
No, no, because ever since we left Oracle, it's just been our home crowd has not been the same. It's insane. It used to be coveted. People used to be scared walking in the building.
Now they're just frightened.
Kevin Durant's on the other
There's a
side
big
too, so that might
difference.
help.
Now they're just shocked.
Um,
Yeah, Golden State. These are your Warriors.
I'll let you go.
Okay. I mean, you don't want to go first.
I was gonna let you go.
Okay. Warriors. I still think they're a playoff team. It'll be good to see full season with Jimmy Butler in the starting
Mm-hmm.
lineup. So I'm excited about that. It really the big pickup for them is Al Horford. So they're going to play him uh, backup power forward. Moses Moody might take a step up in that forward
Yep.
spot. You got Gary Payton Jr. I love Gary Payton. I always have, even in that finals run. I mean, he's a scrappy,
You and me
really good
both.
defensive guard. Buddy Hield. I think we've now, if you haven't figured it out like me, what kind of player Buddy Hield is, and he's just coming off the bench, 3-point shooter. Man, there were some frustrating games, I feel like, with Buddy Hield last year. But there were some games where he would go off. He's just
Yeah, but he also
inconsistent. Yeah, inconsistent. Quentin Post, you get a center that can shoot in the backup center spot. And then the Jonathan Kaminga thing is just weird. It's I don't know. I don't know. So, but you got Steph and Jimmy Butler. You have a
it sucks that that's gonna be.
last,
So
last
I
thing I
can't
was
tell
gonna
when you're.
say is like I still think they're a playoff team. Jimmy, Draymond, and Steph as your big three, and veteran leadership is still pretty solid.
Yeah, it's a playoff team. For sure. I just it sucks that 37-year-old Steph, 36-year-old Jimmy, 35-year-old Draymond, 40-year-old Al Horford. Like this is the it. This is the end, and it sucks at the end of Steph Curry's career. I'm going to be reminded more of the Jonathan Kuminga drama than anything else, because that's all it seems to do every offseason, which is just, is he going to get traded? Does he want to be here? I don't know if you've watched Kuminga play. I know everybody watches the highlights and see him go off when Steph's not in the game, and they think, oh, why is that guy not starting? Watch him play in the system that is Steph Curry. I don't know if you know this, but the Warriors have created this system around the best player to ever walk their arena. And Jonathan Kuminga just think he is above that system for some reason. So he it's almost as if once he touches the ball, he immediately thinks it's my time to shine instead of immediately going, oh, where is the best shooter on the planet who's running his ass off nonstop to try to get open? It's just frustrating times like that, and then you watch him complain and baby. Um, it, it that's gonna be the frustrating part when it's all said and done is watching him kind of derail the talks of what Steph Curry could be. But for the season, it's the same thing as last year. You hope you can get out of the first round and make an interesting second round push for one of these teams. It's going to be a lot more difficult, but I don't know. Maybe Podziemski gets out of his sophomore slump and kind of comes back to what he was rookie year. That's what you're hoping for. He still talks like he's the guy, which is encouraging to see. He talked the other day that he wants the torch after it's said and done. Buddy, you got a lot coming to you if that's what you want. And
I missed that.
if that's what he wants, then more power to him. Yeah, he said I'm gonna take the torch when Steph retires. And Draymond went on like a podcast or somewhere and said, I don't think he quite knows what he's talking about yet, but he's in for quite the awakening when he gets there.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
the moves didn't do anything. Al Horford, Seth Curry. It's just guys 4 years ago that are decent bench pieces now. Horford may start. I don't know. So that's where
I
we're at.
mean, here's the thing. They're older guys, but Steph is still Steph Curry, and Jimmy Butler is still a phenomenal player. Jimmy's going into his
Oh, for sure.
age 36 season. Last year with the Warriors, he averaged 18, 5, and 6. Now, is he a good 3-point shooter? No, but I mean, what I like is they're edgy players. Nothing's going to come easy. Jimmy
Mm-hmm.
Butler and Draymond Green on the same team, they're going to make sure their guys are locked in each and every night that they play.
I mean, to be honest, that playoff series last year, if Steph didn't get injured, it could have got interesting.
Oh,
It ended
yeah.
up being a sweep, but that game one was um, very, very close and could have been a Warriors win to start off, and then kind of downhill from there. But you get an off season with those three guys, hopefully spending a lot of the off season together and building some chemistry on the court, because sometimes it did look kind of clunky on the court when Jimmy first got there. But it's just because they didn't really know how to play together. And Jimmy's always been the guy, so it's kind of hard to become that second option. But now knowing when to take your shots, knowing when to step up and be that guy in the moment will be nice. Al Horford in the playoffs, I'm going to love him. I'm going to love Al Horford in the playoffs because that's just who he is. It's
He
just
is.
going to be.
He's unbelievable. He's every year,
I,
man.
I just don't know if we have the talent to overtop some of these top teams.
The top contenders. Yeah, but I wouldn't put you guys in like the purgatory. You know what I mean? Where it's just like,
No, not yet.
mm.
I think we got one more year of solid contending aspirations, and hopefully I'm wrong, but that would be. I think that's where we're at because I think if we play the Timberwolves, the Nuggets, the Rockets, or the Thunder, and that's 4 teams, so you're going to play one of those in the playoffs. It's a tough series.
Well, let's do Timberwolves now. They're the next team. Made the Western Conference Finals last year. Kind of shocked a lot of people. They shocked me because I thought going in and getting Julius Randle was the wrong move. But
Mm-hmm.
Julius Randle, man, he really stepped up. Everybody knows he's like an ISO scorer, but I think people thought that it would get to a point where he was hurting his team with all the shots that he was taking, and that really wasn't the case. Now, they met the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, and the Thunder were just too much for him. I mean, they were too much for a lot of teams. That's why they won the finals. So, but as far as new additions to this team, uh, not really any. It's pretty much the same team as they had last year. I think Joe Ingles is new
Yeah.
to the roster. So you get a 38-year-old player that you hope. Well, he's not new. He only played 19 games last year. Um, But you hope that Joe Ingles can kind of stay healthy this year and be the good 3-point shooter that he is. I mean, he's a career 41% 3-point shooter.
Yeah, he's a playoff guy that comes in spurts if he's going to at all. I don't know. Is Bones Highland new? I don't know if he was there last year.
Yeah, but Bones might be, but Bones is not reliable anymore, really.
Yeah. So in my eyes, it's Rob Dillingham's got to take a step up, and if he's going to be your bench player, he's got to be that spark off the bench, that Jamal Crawford type player that I predicted he would be in that point guard role when he got drafted. Mike Conley's 38 years old. Who knows how long he can last? So if he's your starter, that's fine. If he ends games, that's fine. But somebody's going to take the bulk of those minutes during the season, or else he's going to be dead by the time we get to the playoffs. Rob's got to step up and be that 20, 25 minute a game night.
Yeah, for some reason, I'm just not bought in for them to like go.
Well, there's not many other options. I mean, unless you're putting. Yeah.
I just don't think they're there yet. Unless, Anthony Edwards might take he might take a step up and be like MVP kind of guy. What is Anthony Edwards going to be 24 this year?
He's shooting the hell out of the ball. I don't know if you've watched his
in preseason.
I saw a practice clip, and dude, his shot charts are off the wall. Like they are insane. I was gonna say that, yeah. So if he can be he's going to shoot 10 threes a game again. If he can do that and become more efficient.
Does he get to 30 points a game? He averaged about 28 points per game last year.
Probably.
Yeah, he can get to and if you're averaging 30 points a game, you're going to be in MVP conversation.
I think the problem last year was they doubled him and he didn't know what to do because nobody else was. Their team isn't constructed to handle a Anthony Edwards double. So what he worked on and should have worked on hopefully in the offseason, and I think he did, but I'm not entirely sure, is just like a post fade to where he can catch the ball and immediately know which side the defender's on, and he can fade away from the defense. If he masters that, it could get very scary on offense for a guy who's already very, 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 very good.
Yeah. Clippers.
I don't know about Julius Randle. I got to see it one more year before I believe what happened last year.
Gotcha. Yeah, Randle, man. Like I said, he really stepped up. Clippers.
I got to see it again.
I think the Clippers take a step back this year. Oldest roster.
Chris Paul's back.
Lost Norman Powell. Yeah, they got Chris Paul, and also too there's so much. It doesn't feel right, the organization right now with all the Steve Ballmer stuff and that Kawhi story.
Well, if Kawhi's out, it changes a lot.
Yeah, so like, is this team going 50-32 this year? I don't think so. I don't think this team's winning 50 games.
Yeah, they're probably going to be in that play-in spot.
The thing was, as well, is the big thing with them is their defense was amazing last year. That was the best part of their defense, and are they going to be able to repeat that?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the roster, like, so you're the starting lineup's going to be James Harden, Bradley Beal, maybe Kawhi, John Collins, Zubac. Is that what you're seeing on the roster?
This is probably the 76ers of the West, right?
Of the
here.
What if?
Right.
I mean,
now,
they have good bench pieces. I mean, if CP3 is coming off their bench, you got Brook Lopez, Derek Jones, Chris Dunn, Bogdanovich. Like, you're right. It's just a very, very old team. I think that veteran leadership will get them to at least the play-in. But it is solely dependent on if Kawhi, one, is able to play as far as whatever's happening right now, or two, is healthy enough all year to make a run. So
now I love John Collins. He had a great season with Utah last year.
Him and James Harden's gonna be a fun pick and roll.
Yeah. Maybe we could get a little Lob City 2.0 to an extent.
It's going
just
to be
with John Collins.
Yeah. Throwing up to Brook Lopez, 37-year-old Brook Lopez.
I don't know if John Collins and Brook Lopez match up to Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan. So, but yeah, I'm down on the Clippers. Down on the Clippers this year. 50 wins. I don't know. I don't know if they're getting there.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think 7 or 8 seed.
All right. Final four in the West.
You know who I'm not
Next
down
team.
on?
Hmm.
I said, you know who I'm not down on?
Who?
Denver Nuggets.
Denver Nuggets. Yeah, Denver. They look solid. They traded for Cam Johnson, so they're getting a guy who can shoot like MPJ, and he's a better defender. That's the big
Mm-hmm.
thing. But the actual biggest thing for the Nuggets is coming off their
Depth.
bench is depth. Valanciunas and Tim Hardaway Jr. and Bruce Brown is back. So that was the thing that just killed Denver
Mm-hmm.
last year is they just ran out of gas. They ran out of gas, and Jokic and Jamal were having to do a lot.
Yeah, I'm in the same wave. Like you're no longer dead if Jokic is on the bench. I think, and that's the biggest part of this story, like you were last year. Yeah, I mean, I agree. If you've got, because I assume the starting line is going to be Jamal, Tim Hardaway Jr., Cam Johnson, Gordon, Jokic.
No, it'll be
Is that what you're seeing?
CB Christian Brown.
How can I forget?
Christian Brown,
Didn't see
who
him up there.
did sign
Yeah, Christian Brown. So off the bench, you've got massive deal.
yeah, signed a good deal today. But yeah, I mean,
Off the bench, yeah, you got Bruce Brown, who was part of the reason you all won the first championship. Tim Hardaway Jr., solid shooter off the bench. You've got, I think obviously Valanciunas, but I think the two guys that were put into spots last year that were higher than what they should have been, but now are in spots where you're like the 8th, 9th guy, 10th guy off the bench, but could really show some flashes, and that's Julian Strother, who I really, really like, and Peyton Watson. And if Peyton Watson is your 10th guy off the bench versus your 7th, which is pretty much what he was last year, it is a night and day difference as far as your depth piece goes. So I really like those two at the end of the bench as far as your young pieces to look up forward to. So that's kind of where I'm at. I really, really, really like this team. It reminds me a lot of the team that won them the championship a few years ago. So we'll see if Jokic still has that in the bag at 30 years old for another MVP season.
yeah,
4 in a row could be if someone didn't complain.
yeah. I'll never forget Game 6 Julian Strother when he came alive against the Thunder last season.
How could you?
How could you? So, next team we got on the list, the Lakers. So, I actually, have you been seeing the stuff about LeBron that came out today? Really weird story that dropped, and I do apologize. I'm forgetting the name of the guy who wrote it, but it was it's a story documenting kind of the LeBron James Lakers. But there were some
Oh, with Russ?
it came out on the Ringer, yeah, and Russ.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I assume it. I mean, it's got to be direct quotes from Russell Westbrook, and obviously, since they are, that just means him and LeBron do not like each other, or he does not care if LeBron likes him or not, to come out to a reporter and say these quotes about him. But it pretty much was Russell Westbrook dogging LeBron for having a split personality or a fake personality, which I love LeBron James as the player, but I think people who have followed LeBron James would not be surprised, if that makes sense. There's always been conversation on how LeBron looks. But I don't know. Does that affect the Lakers season going into it? He's out for a few weeks going into the season, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. It always fascinates me. It's like you're the best basketball player pretty much ever, and you still feel the need to lie about a book that you're reading to appease a crowd of somebody. It's like I don't quite understand the fixation on being great at everything. But you know, or acting as if we know things that are going to happen when you really don't. Like they pretty much confirmed everything that Twitter always said, which was like, oh, you're not actually reading the book because you couldn't name a quote out of it, which is one of the quotes he had, or the split personality stuff of they'd walk into him and AD walked out of a team meeting when Will Smith was there, and then they came back in like way later and then acted all buddy buddy with him. I don't know, just stuff like that. But as far as like their season's gonna go, obviously Luka being there for a little bit more than half a year now. Um, See how that plays out. Getting Jared Vanderbilt back. Marcus Smart's a good pickup. Austin Reeves is really taking that huge leap that nobody really thought he was going to last year. Um, I don't know. It's just I don't. I still see like a 5 or 6 seed, maybe a 4 because you got Luca, but it's just the West is so stacked. It's kind of hard to put him above that. DeAndre Ayton for me is. I don't think people realize Lakers fans how fed up they're gonna get with him. Um, Luckily, the stuff came out not too long ago about him and his time with the Suns. And I don't know if you've seen those clips, but it's a very, very fun watch if you uh, kind of knew this going in as
Yeah.
far as the hate watching that goes on. So the big man spot that I'm worried about, I still like Rui. Rui's one of the more underrated players in the league, I think. Like him as a bench piece is really, really good. Even if he starts, I really like him. So I don't know.
Yeah.
First few weeks without LeBron, they'll be fine. They'll have Luca to carry him. It's how they are when LeBron gets back and Luca and LeBron play together. They didn't get much time last year together, so
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see how that still works.
I mean, here's the thing. There's going to be moments in the season where everybody's going to be so down on the Lakers, and you're going to be like, does LeBron need to retire or they need to trade? They're going to go through like a 2 week stretch. I feel it's going to be like every 2 weeks. It's going to be 2 weeks where it's like the sky is falling. And then the next 2 weeks, they're going to go on like a 6 game winning streak. And there's going to be a bunch of people that are saying this is a team that's going to win the finals. So it's kind of like that every year on a Lakers team or a LeBron James team, and I think that's just kind of where we're headed for again. Is there's going to be a month where everybody's going to think LeBron needs to ask for a trade, and then the very next month, those same people are going to say that the Lakers are going to win the finals. I'll probably be one of them.
Yeah,
So just kind of that area for the Lakers right now. Last two teams, Houston Rockets, OKC Thunder. Rockets probably the most anticipated teams to watch going into the season just because I mean that's an all-in move going and trading for Kevin Durant and then they signed the 2 year extension, $90 million by the way. Over 2 years for Kevin Durant. At this point in his career, I'm not a KD fan, you know that, as far as him being like that go to player. Now, I mean, is this the best roster he's had since the Warriors?
easily
Easily. So, is
when
KD still that?
healthy, because Kyrie and James were
I
were
mean,
pretty
was
good.
that a better roster though? I mean, yeah, that was still a good team, but I mean, if Kevin Durant, if we still look at Kevin Durant as the player that he is, this team should be contending for a finals this year.
Yeah, losing Fred Van Fleet for the year really, really hurts this team. I don't
Yeah.
think people realize how bad it hurts. Like they look at Fred, and they're like, "Oh yeah, 3-point shooter," or like, he is the guy, the vocal leader, because Kevin Durant is not. Like he's a fantastic player, one of the best basketball players in the world, but he is not your locker room leader. It's been proven. He'll probably see this on Twitter one day and clap back at it, but I don't think people realize how big of a loss Fred Van Fleet is for this team. Amin Thompson's a budding star. People know that. They're just big. They're huge. Like so much so that the starting lineups came out today, and KD's going to start at the 2 tomorrow. 6'10", 6'11", 7'1", whatever the fuck KD is starting at the 2 tomorrow for the Houston Rockets. Now, a guy like Reed Shepard is going to have to step up in a big way. When you lose a guy like Fred Van Fleet, you're going to have to step up to be at that bench piece because Amin Thompson is going to be the starter. Um, Really, after that, there's no guards that can really play. And for a guy that was a third overall pick, you have to be the guy. So I think he can be. He showed flashes of that in preseason. It's just whether or not he gets a shot this year, which we hope he does. But loaded roster. I mean, Amin Thompson, 6'7". That's gonna be your shortest guy on the floor tomorrow night to start off. You're gonna have him, KD, Jabari Smith. I think they're starting Sangoon and Adams, or maybe it's
Yeah,
like
Thompson's gonna be. I mean, what he was able to do last year, his transition into the starting role. Uh, yeah, it's
you,
gonna be a big lineup, good defensive team. no reason that they, at the very least, they should definitely get out of the first round.
Well, because if you remember, the reason they couldn't get out of the first round last year is because the Warriors were able to play a freaking zone against them in an NBA roster because they couldn't shoot the ball. They had Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks. Van Fleet was the only guy you worried about, and he got his in that series, believe me. But that was it. That was the only people that can shoot. So you kind of run into the same issue here when Van Fleet gets out and you just switch it with KD. Yeah, KD can shoot, but Amin Thompson can't. Jabari Smith can if he hits the corner three. Sengun and Steven Adams, you've got three guys on the floor that can't shoot. It's a tough league to play when you're like that. So I don't know how long that's going to last. Here's the reason I have the Rockets still being very high. I think Sengun's going to take that next step.
Like how big?
Like he took a big step last year. I think he's going to take another huge leap. Like I think he's going to be. He won't be top 5, but he's going to be in talks of the MVP, like top 10.
Be a special season.
It would be. But the offense is still going to focus around him. And then you've got guys that instead of kicking it out to Jalen Green, you're going to be kicking out to Kevin Durant. So it's going to be a little different.
So he averaged 19, 10, and 4 last year. You think all those numbers bump up?
I think.
Maybe not the rebounding, but.
Yeah, but the assist numbers for sure. I think he's going to be. I think it could be 25, 10, and 7.
I mean, if he's 25, 10, and 7, I'm pretty sure Jokic has won a MVP with those numbers. So
25 is crazy. Maybe 22, 10, and 7. But I think he almost doubles the assist numbers.
Yeah, if you're 22, 10, and 7, and the Rockets are a top 2 team in the Western Conference, definitely should. Yeah, you should be in the top 3 for MVP voting. That would be a huge step. I mean. Sengun's a good player, but he's definitely not in if you're predicting MVP, I don't think anybody's thinking about, definitely you got to throw in Sengun in that conversation.
Of course.
Last team, OKC Thunder.
Reigning champs,
former MVP, didn't lose anyone.
Yeah.
They got the same team.
Yeah.
It seems like they got the same hunger. You really got to find out about that in the beginning of the season. I mean, it is a long year when you win the finals. But we're still looking for first team to go back-to-back since the Warriors did it.
Still looking for a team to be in the same. I think the last 8 years have been different.
Yeah. We're looking for in this era, in this decade, we're looking for that next great
Consistent
team or that first team that we're in 20 years we can look back and be like, who are those teams in the 20s? We're still kind of who won multiple championships. So the Thunder now have that opportunity, but they're going to have a good shot. When you have the MVP and an entire roster that has good chemistry coming back, they're going to be right there in the conversation.
I agree. You ready to get into it then?
Yeah,
after 2.5 hours, we're going to get into our predictions.
Hours. Yeah, I guess we could have split this up a little earlier. We scooched it back. The season opens up tomorrow, but it's all good. It's all good. We're talking hoops. All right, let's go. What are we starting with? The Eastern Conference?
Yeah, or do you want to do? You can do awards
first. You want to give me your top 8?
Yeah, I can do that.
Because you get 1 through 8, and then we'll go through the matchups.
I didn't know if you wanted to get some predictions for MVP or awards or anything.
Yeah, we can do. Let's do 3. Let's do. We can go MVP. We can go 6th man of the year, and we pretty much gave our most improved player already. MVP. I'm just gonna go with Jokic.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why is I think
got a better
that
team.
They're gonna have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. The last 2 seasons, I just feel like the Nuggets have kind of been dragging along. But now they kind of have some help, and I think there's a little extra juice this year. So, and I just think if Jokic has another season like he did last year, are you really going to deny him another MVP if he has? Because let's be honest, he didn't get MVP last year because maybe there was some fatigue. I mean, he was the first player ever to be
3 and 4
top 5
years
in 4 different categories or something like that. So it really was a historic season. He had the first 30, 20, 20 games since Wilt. So But the thing is like I totally Shea getting MVP. I was totally in agreement with because I think it gets to a point where you can't like if a guy has 4 MVPs, he has to have multiple championships. Like at that point, I don't care that it's a regular season award. Like I remember a year ago, NFL was they were trying to give out their MVP. It was between
Lamar.
Lamar and Josh Allen. I was all for Josh Allen because I don't want somebody to have 3 MVPs and they've never been to a Super Bowl. So, as good of a season as Lamar had, it gets to a point where it's like we need to save these rare categories like the 4 MVPs, the 5 MVPs for like the true greats of the game. But Jokic does have a ring. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, Jokic, was that your pick?
Well, what are the odds of an American winning this award?
Who would be the American?
There's only
Um,
one that I can think of. That's Ant. Like
um,
you've got Jokic, Shea, Doncic. Then you've got Giannis, maybe Victor. Like you've got so many foreign guys that can win every single time. Like is Anthony Edwards the only player that can win it? It's just an interesting question to show you where our league is at as far as how the
yeah.
world is pretty much dominating USA basketball. But
Um, I think possibly this is a stretch. Jalen Brunson.
I
Jalen
apologize.
Brunson.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson is. It's hard for a 6'1" guard who's not Steph to win MVP.
The Knicks would have to have a phenomenal season.
Yeah, well, they'd have to be. I don't even know if the one seed would get him that, even if he went off for 30 a game. Like I don't know if. I just don't know if he'll ever be in there, especially when
Yeah.
you got guys like Jokic and Shea are doing what they're doing. But it's just an interesting question. I don't think anybody's going back to back. So I don't know. It's hard for me to pick Luka with LeBron being on the team. Victor's not ready yet. I think he's got one more year before he's there. I think
I
he's in.
mean,
I think he's in
Kevin
the talks
Durant.
this year. No, no, it's too much of a team. The team's too good. He won't be the star of that team. I think he'll be a scorer, but I don't think he'll be the guy.
If he averages 27 a game and the Rockets are the number 1 seed in the West,
I doubt it. I doubt 38-year-old Kevin Durant's going to win
he's
it.
averaging 27. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think we're both in agreement. Jokic and kind of the same guys as it's been the last 2 or 3 years. But, Sagoon could get into that conversation, like you said. Rockets have a really strong season.
I'd
Let's,
put
let's
Victor up
just
there
do
first, but yeah.
let's just do MVP, and now let's go into the picks because, like, I apologize. I have been keeping us for a little bit, so
You're all good.
yeah. Let's start with the Eastern Conference. I want to hear your picks, and then I'll tell you if I got anything different.
Yeah, so I've got I did a little different. Now, the one through I know one you're gonna have different because I don't have them in the playoffs, but I'll roll through mine. So I've got Cleveland being the 1 seed, regular season. They love the regular season. They're allergic to the playoffs, so they're gonna stick to 1. I've got the Orlando Magic at the 2 seed. I told you I was high on them, and regular season that I am. Knicks are gonna be the 3. They're gonna be fine there at the 3. I've got Detroit at the 4, and I've got Philadelphia at the 5. So that's a fun matchup in the first round. I've got Atlanta at 6, high on them. Milwaukee's going to win in the play-in to get to 7, and the Indiana Pacers are going to win the play-in to get to 8. And then I think there's one that think I'm missing out on. I'd like to hear who you think that is.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is the Celtics.
Mm-hmm. I got them losing in the play-in.
So you think losing Tatum and all those guys, it's going to have a real effect.
I don't think you can lose 3 starters and one of them be your star player and don't have a big man. I don't think people realize nobody knows the starter's name that's going to be starting for them in 2 weeks or 3 days. So yeah, that I think they're going to get dominated offensively. Joe Mazzulla is going to have those guys ready. They'll still be competitive. I don't know if I have to see Jaylen Brown be the guy consistently to be swayed, but
Yeah, I still have them making the playoffs just because I think it's the Celtics and those guys have been to a championship and I
so
think
which one are
they
you taking
still.
out?
What's
Which
up?
one which one are you taking out?
Well, me going through, I definitely like the Cavs, the Knicks in there. I agree with you. I think as long as you have Giannis, the Bucks are going to find a way to make the playoffs. They got the Celtics, the Magic. I do like the Hawks. I'm in agreement with you there. Sixers make the playoffs. And then I said in the beginning, so I'll stick with it. I'll go getting that 8 seed. The Charlotte Hornets will be my last team that sneaks in there. So that'd
Now
be a
who you left
huge
out?
jump. What's up?
Pistons not in your playoff prediction.
Not Pistons not in the playoffs. Pacers
Wow.
not in the playoffs.
Wow.
Those are two teams that maybe the Pistons go up against the Hornets in Charlotte, and we get that the awesome Hornets announcer, and he's just calling the game, and it's just crazy. It's crazy. It's madness. So
Well, figure out your seating for that because I'm gonna roll through the West then.
yeah, go ahead.
So the West,
So
I've got.
wait, I'm sorry, real quick. So what were the differences that we had in the East? So
You
what were
had
the
I had the
Celtics.
Pacers at the 8. You had Celtics somewhere out there.
So I have Celtics and Hornets. Are those my two different teams?
Yeah, and I've got Pistons and Pacers.
Pistons and Pacers. Gotcha. All right, West. You had the 76ers, right?
I did.
Okay.
I have been a 5 seed.
Yeah.
Thunder, 1 seed, same team, same. They're gonna win 70 games. They're great. Nuggets, 2 seed, deep roster. They're better than they were last year. They were a 4 seed last year. Jokic's gonna have another MVP season. They're not gonna die when he's on the bench this year. He can actually rest during some games. Be huge for them. Rockets, 3 seed, too deep, too tall. Unless there's a catastrophic injury, I don't see them losing too many games. 4 seed, I've got the Minnesota Timberwolves. Classic, just team that's going to be there. Maybe the regular season might not be where they shine, but the playoffs they'll become dogs again and take over. I do have the Lakers at the 5 seed with Luka. I could flip flop those if I really wanted to, because it's hard for me to say that Luka and LeBron are not going to be a top 4 seed, but that's where we are right now as a 5 seed. Golden State at 6 seed, and I've got the Clippers at a 7 seed, and I've got the Dallas Mavericks as an 8 seed.
Okay.
Also could flip those two, depending on the Kawhi situation.
Yeah, that's where I'm different with you. I do not have the Clippers in my top 8. Thunder, Rockets, Lakers, Nuggets, Timberwolves, Warriors. And listen, not everything always happens as planned.
Mm-hmm.
So, Pelicans are going to make the playoffs.
I like that pick.
But that means I have to kick out one of two teams. That is the Spurs and the Dallas Mavericks. And I'm going to pick the young team. That'll be the Spurs. So that's the one where, injuries or something can happen, and maybe something happens with the Spurs, or maybe they still kind of show that they're really young and they get into the play-in and they're not able to get over the hump. So I'll take the Mavericks, and maybe the Spurs are that shocking team that's unable to get into the playoffs, and then I'll put the Pelicans in there. So we're different. The Pelicans you did not have in there. So
Right. Well, I had them in as a play-in team. I've got the Spurs and the Pelicans as play-in teams, but those are the two that are losing. I just think the old men of the Clippers would be better than those two for right now.
That's where I agree with you. So we have that's the only difference we have, right, is the Spurs and the Pelicans.
Well, so you took the Spurs over the Mavericks in the playoffs?
No, I took the Mavericks over the Spurs.
Okay, so yeah. So the only ones are Clippers and Pelicans. Flip-flop, pretty much.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right.
The
Well,
Mavericks,
then,
the 8 seed.
tell you what, let's do Final Four, and then we'll get championship picks, and then we'll wrap this thing up, because then we'll get to the season.
Something in there as to the first round to show you how we got here. I do have the Atlanta Hawks upsetting the New York Knicks in the first round. And I know you said nothing goes according to plan, and that is where...
Yeah, you're right.
Trae Young loves New York. He's a big fan over there. They're not a fan of him. The Hawks have got a deeper team now, a better team than when he did it the first time. Obviously, so do the Knicks. I just think Tibbs is going to run them into the ground. May not be the first round, maybe the second round. Tibbs' style just doesn't work with me, and eventually won't work for those starters. So maybe it doesn't happen the first round, but I think some chaos will happen, and Atlanta gets to the second round. However, it does end there. My final four are, and this is going to sound crazy, the Orlando Magic are going to make the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Detroit Pistons are going to make the Eastern Conference Finals. A team that you left out of your playoffs this year. I think Cade Cunningham takes another leap, and Paulo, I think, could be a part of those MVP conversations by the end of the year. On the other side, I've got chalk. Thunder, Mavericks. Nope. Thunder, Nuggets. And I'll go ahead and get it out of the way. I've got the Nuggets and the Magic making it to the NBA championship. Yes, I had the Denver Nuggets beating the defending champions and the OKC Thunder, who did win 71 games, just shy of that 73 mark. And I do have the Orlando Magic beating the Detroit Pistons and making it to the NBA Finals. God forbid, I know. And I do have Denver winning 4-1 in that finals. And my
Hey, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of those finals. You know, that was actually supposed to be the 2009 NBA Finals if Carmelo was able to beat Kobe Bryant. That's what I was rooting for. It's supposed to be that year, so maybe we can just push it back and make it 2026 NBA Finals, Nuggets Magic. That'd be a good one. Eastern Conference Finals would be wild.
yeah
And I think it would be awesome because it's just two new teams, and you just don't see that in the NBA. Usually, it's the teams that are always there, or they within a 5 year span. So my Western Conference is the same as yours, and I think it's just strictly based on I want to see that series again. The series was great last year, even though the seventh game was awful. But Aaron Gordon had the calf injury, and MPJ could barely lift his right or left arm or whatever it was. So I would love to see that series again. Eastern Conference, I wanted to try to pick something like weird, but all I came up with is I do think after all these years, the Cavaliers finally get in there to Eastern Conference Finals. I think it's time. Like at some point when you have this great team, I mean, I'm not talking finals win, but like I think it's time that they finally get in there. So, and I'm still a believer in the Knicks. I think they go back to the Eastern Conference Finals. My championship is the Thunder and the Knicks. Even though the Nuggets got a lot deeper, this Thunder team they love playing with each other. Like their chemistry is awesome. And I think it's just going to be one of those teams that we look back and we're like, oh, those Thunder teams were so fun. I don't. I think everybody's going to forget about like all the fouls and that Shea would create. Maybe not. Maybe not. So,
yeah
and I've never liked New York teams, but I I love the Nova Knicks. I just do. And I'm gonna ride with them because I rode with them last year, and for some reason I caught myself like watching Knicks games and being like rooting for them. I've never done that in my life since Melo was there. So I'll go Thunder Knicks for my finals, and the Thunder. The Thunder go into Madison Square Garden and win back-to-back NBA championships.
wow first back to back
First
in
back-to-back.
what would be 9 years 8 years at that point.
Yeah, yeah. Because what were the Warriors?
2017, 2018.
17, 18. Yeah, 9 years. So we're getting that.
Crazy.
We're getting that. But I totally am okay with being wrong if we get your championship. So
Yeah, I bet. Well, I'm glad everybody waited around just to hear those picks after 2:45 and some change. So we really appreciate
yeah, I knew
that.
this one was going to be a longer one. The rest of the podcast for this season, and we're going to make it our mission to try to do this weekly. But I'm pretty confident. New year, new us.
That's what they
So
say. And pretty soon I'm gonna have some jerseys behind me, so you'll actually be
yeah,
able to
that'd
see
be
something
sick.
other than a
I
gray
mean, I
wall.
do have some jerseys, but they're just hanging on my door. I don't think that looks really cool. So,
Well,
uh,
I'll have them up. Well, I had some technical difficulties on this side. I don't know if you can see the
I
holes in
see
the
that.
wall.
I do
Uh,
see that.
the air duct got in the way. Didn't know that was a thing. The
I didn't
whole
know that was a thing.
it's a whole ordeal. I don't know. I just live here. Anyway,
Yeah,
there should be jerseys by the next time you see us,
yeah.
hopefully.
But yeah, hopefully we can do next Monday. We'll have a week's worth of games.
Mm.
It'll be awesome. NBA's back,
College is
ready
back.
for the
Everything's
2026
back.
season,
Mm.
and ready to talk some hoops all year long. So, that being said, make sure you join us this week and enjoy the. Hope you enjoyed the 3 hour long podcast. See ya.